Big news. I have some important news for you.
Interesting news.
It's Blake and Darren's Spilling the Tea with Sandy.
K-Man's top news headlines of the day from CMR.
Good morning, Sandy. How's it going?
Good morning, Blake and Aaron. How are you guys doing?
You know, like we said earlier, trying to get into the swing of things on this Friday.
Awesome. Sounds beautiful.
What's going on?
All right. So headlines this morning, the deputy governor has actually issued a statement about his little health scare, basically saying that he had a micro heart attack and encouraging, thanking everyone, of course, for their positive thoughts and prayers, and also encouraging men to just ensure that you do what you got to do just in case, you know.
Absolutely.
He's been eating healthy and working out, and look, it still happened to him.
Yep.
So you never know.
Yeah, for sure.
Unfortunately,
I want to give a shout out to Movember really quick because they had their info night at Lions Center last night, and that was where you go and get a free PSA. Early detection saves lives, and obviously being on top of your health.
Absolutely.
So
yeah. So the RCIPS had a press conference yesterday where they talked about the recent increase in robberies. So to no surprise, they have indicated that armed robberies are up by 400%.
Wow.
Yes. So they've had 23 for the year. And they're comparing numbers, obviously, 2020 and 2021. And it's really, really shocking. But they say that they're working on it. And they also say that there are about 10 people who they know are responsible for these robberies, but they need to get those 10 individuals off the street. So they're being very, very prolific at the moment in terms of what they're doing. So as a matter of fact, this morning, this is a CMR and KISS 106.1 exclusive. This morning, there were armed units in the area of Moon Bay doing stops. So the USG team, in financial, what's the other one called? The firearm response unit. They were out in full force this morning. Doing some checks. I don't know if they've got a tip or something, but good on them.
But yeah, I mean, listen, that's where you're going to find people if they're out and about, driving on the road.
I don't know if robbers get up this early, but
I don't know. Remember what happened?
Nonetheless, they find
8:30 a.m. the other morning.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Yeah.
So they do find that a lot of times when they're doing other types of stops, they kind of just get lucky and they find people who are en route to commit a crime or committing some other offense. So the last set of robbers, remember the one in Northside that was reported a couple days ago? Turns out that one was related to people who were gambling. So again, this whole concept of the illegal gambling, takes center stage, and that it attracts other criminals to you. So
they're going to know to leave with money.
Yeah, those of you in the gambling world, you might want to rethink it. So in addition to that, a wanted man has been arrested and charged with attempted murder. So his name is, he's got a longer name, Luis Hernandez, and he was wanted by the police. He's finally been arrested and charged with attempted murder and possession of an unlicensed firearm in relation to a shooting, they say, in Windsor Park that took place on April the 20th. So the man was hospitalized after being shot in the abdomen on Oakland Close in Windsor Park. So Hernandez was finally located in Bodden Town on Monday, November the 14th.
Wow.
And there was a 22-year-old woman who was arrested in conjunction with Hernandez on suspicion of defeating the course of justice. I think it might be defrauding. Is it defeating or defrauding? For assisting him in evading the police. So the police want to remind people, and they've said this before, that it is a criminal offense to harbor criminals, and they will throw the book at you if they find that you are doing that. So I would suggest you don't.
Yep, that's absolutely against the law. No brainer.
Yeah. There was a boat yesterday that rescued some Cuban nationals and Cuban migrants out in the high seas. And they were towing them in yesterday morning. Officials haven't released anything on this as yet, but I think it was another 9 Cubans that were on that boat that was being rescued, and they were bringing them in because we were the closest port. They were bringing them into Grand Cayman.
Yeah. And then I saw the boat. You posted something of a boat getting stuck out on the reef.
Yeah, there was a boat on the reef. Yeah, the weather is a little bit rough right now, so I would highly recommend that people just stay out of the water. Just
and use
stay on land.
Yeah, and there's places where you go over the reef. There are markers there.
Mhm.
So use those. I don't know if their engine died and they got pushed onto it or what, but yeah, don't
Yeah,
try to go over the reef. Anyway, all
pretty
right.
crazy.
All right, cool.
All right, so those are your news headlines for this beautiful Friday morning. Lots of rain. Looks like we're in store for it as well.
Absolutely. So be careful out there on the roads. They were quite wet. I hit
Yes.
a little slippery part at one point. Luckily, I was going quite slow, but still, I was like, "Ooh, I think I." So yeah, be careful
Hmm.
and take your time. You won't get there faster if you get into a car wreck.
Exactly.
And you have a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you
Thank
on
you.
Monday.
All right, wonderful.
Catch Sandy right now.
All right, folks. Good morning. Good morning. We're going to get our show kicked off. Hello, everybody. Happy Friday. It's Friday. It's Friday.
Peppermint, sorrel, ginger, beaver grass, or English. Get it ready. Your morning tea just got hotter.
Ooh, honey child.
On the cold, hard truth. Bobo 89.1 and Cayman's #1 talk show are bringing you morning talk like no one else. Monday Rewind, Impact Wednesdays, Caribbean Connections, and much more. Don't miss a beat with what's happening in the local community. Just keep sipping your tea.
What a mess.
Here's your host, live and direct from the Cayman Islands, Sandy Hill.
All right. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. How is everyone doing? Oh, everybody's sending me their scammers. Oh my goodness. I feel like there's a scammer born every single minute of the day now, or being imported in. We seem to get them with a degree of, shocking prevalence, really. And they're from all over the place, honey. Chill. Oh my gosh, it's pretty crazy. So happy Friday, everyone. How are you guys doing this beautiful Friday morning? Looks like we're in for a little bit of rain or overcast today, but that's okay. Like I said, I don't mind the rain, honey chill, just like I don't mind the sunshine. Bring it on, bring it on. So lots going on. Let's discuss some of it. We'll have a little bit of open mic before we get into some more, interesting topics. So it's all interesting as far as I'm concerned. But Miss Vernita, good morning. How are you? I had some very active dreams last night. Ooh, honey child, I was dreaming about all sorts of stuff. I actually had a dream about two sisters and then all these other people that I don't know coming into like my personal space, which I would obviously not have been happy about. First, it started with kids in my yard that were like part of a daycare. And I'm like, why are you allowing your kids to just roam in my yard? And the person was like, the adults were like, oh, they're on a field trip. And I thought, well, that's weird because even if they're on a field trip, you don't just randomly let them roam in people's yards. And what if something happened to the kids? That's a liability. Even in my sleep, I'm like, the lawyer brain is on. That's a liability. Why would you do that? What if they fall on a piece of glass or something? I ain't getting money to be paying nobody. Listen, my dreams are very detailed, I tell you what. And then it switched to these two sisters just randomly being in my room and wanting to watch TV. And I was like, okay, but these two are friends, so that was okay. So bizarre. And then after that was like a convention of people coming through my house. People that I didn't know. And y'all know how I feel about that. To me, that's like, ew. And interestingly enough, I felt like it was part of like some kind of church convention. They were all Caribbean, African-American people. And I just was like, why are all of you coming in my house? Like y'all need to get stepping somewhere else. And then I opened the door to see how many more are coming because it was like a lot of people. And I saw this, like all the other people I didn't know. And I saw one person from West Bay that I did know that would never step foot in my house. And so I gave her one look and I was like, not today, Bobo. I don't care what kind of church group you're involved in. All these strangers can come in, but you're not coming in. How random and weird is that, right? She's an She is an anti whatchamacallit, member of the she's a anti LGBTQ person in the community. So according to Carmelie, that's a sign that God has given you to accept him as your personal savior. What a mess, Carmelie. You sure can pull that one out of the I don't know what. Why would that be a sign? What's a sign? Isn't it amazing how people see things that they want to see? Explain to me logically what the sign is. That's just as random as any other dream that you might have. So I'm not quite getting what the sign would be. You know what, Carmelie? I was thinking about this the other day. And don't take any insult to this. It may not necessarily be directed at you, and it may. just have a think about it. Because I was thinking about Nadine. Good morning, Nathina. And I got a phone call after the show with Nadine on it, claiming that she had claimed this. What did she do? She claimed that she had cured this stroke victim, which is far from the truth, quite honestly. And I've spoken to a lot of people involved, and she may very well be charged with kidnapping for real, because the woman was missing for 6 hours, and apparently nobody knew where the woman was. And you want to hear something else that's absolutely crazy? The caregiver that supposedly gave permission is older than the woman she's taking care of. The caregiver is like 75 years old. Now, I'm not so sure that she's capable of actually taking care of this woman, to be honest, because clearly she's not making salient decisions at the age of 75. She might need a caregiver herself. Turns out that she was so stressed out herself by the whole situation that she actually had her pressure through the roof. She was about to have a stroke. Yeah. You know, I got sources all over the place, and my sources were like, this woman was stressed out by the entire ordeal. I was like, my gosh, what on earth? But as I got this phone call about Nadine and you know, allegations about the kind of life that she has lived, and to now hear her, what's the word I'm looking for? Her fever that she has with oh my God, I don't even know her. I don't want to call it passion, because it isn't passion. It goes beyond that. It is a little bit fanatical, right? And it got me to thinking, everyone that I know that becomes fanatical about religion, right, was someone who was at the top of the scale when it comes to being a sinner. So they weren't a regular sinner, if there's such a thing. You know, they didn't just kind of do stuff, whatever. Like, they were epic. They were whoring down the place. Oh gosh, let's not use that word again. They were fornicating all over the place. They were taking people, man and children and families. They were, you know, thieves. And I mean, they were at the epitome of, you know, accusing people of rape when they were out there having sex with them, because then they were married to somebody else. And then they got pregnant by this one person. They were just epic. And so it's like they have to overcompensate. And I've seen a couple of times here in Cayman where this has happened. There's a couple really interesting examples. You know, like, oh my God, their reputation was just, the pits. And so when they finally find the Lord, they find him at a different level than the rest of us. And they feel they have to go around preaching it to everybody and throwing it in your face. And oh God, this and oh God, that. And it was like, ooh, honey child, I guess that the Lord can save you from all of your transgressions. Must be something miraculous going on. But it is very, very peculiar that they have to overcompensate. And I think part of it really is like a societal pressure to, you know, just want to show the world that all of a sudden you're a good person. And it really isn't necessary. I mean, I honestly don't care, to be honest. That's between you and your Lord, and you should probably keep it that way. Mm-hmm. But it is an observation that I was making the other day when I was listening to this person tell me the backstory about Nadine. I was like, wow, even if 50% of the backstory was true, it is absolutely shocking. And in fact, Nadine is known to the authorities at CBC and what's now Works and Immigration, all those people, because she's been hiring people, not taking out work permits, not paying them, owing people money, one bag of stuff. And now you're a healer, honey child. Yes, sir. I tell you, boy, what a bag of something. So Carmely said that's why he died for us, big or small. There you go. Well, there seems to be something a bit peculiar going on there, I must tell you. What they say, the bigger the church appearance. Stephen, good morning. Irvlyn, good morning. John, how are you? Number one fan, John says, in the front seat. Hello, John. Welcome to class. And it's Friday. Remember when you were in school on Fridays? Sometimes that's when you'd have your little parties. It was like, oh, we're not going to do anything too much today. It's party time. Well, not exactly. Around here, we got to keep it moving, honey Jill. We got so much to talk about. Siobhan is in the house. Marshall, present. Miss Bonnie says she's present too. Happy to be here. Marshall says, I'm glad that they got the girl that was helping him hide. Lock her ass up too. Yes, honey Jill. That offense can get you. I want to say that, did they say last time how many years you can get in jail for aiding and abetting or harboring a fugitive? Because he's been missing for a while. I actually forgot that he was missing, or he was wanted, I should say. Defeating the course of justice. How many years can you get for that? So yeah, lock her up. You know, this is part of the problem. We're going to talk about this morning about these so-called criminals. Everybody in Cayman wants to talk about, oh, well, the criminals are really the Jamaicans coming in on the boat. The police said, not only are they not the Jamaicans coming in on the boat, they are indigenous Caymanians. Did y'all hear that? Wake up. It's their own criminals. Yeah, y'all not ready for the cold hard truth today. Louise in the house. Olivia's here. Chantel. Good morning, Melita, my apologies. Sonia's got it locked. Good morning, Miss Sonia. How are you? Louis saying that Buffalo, New York woke up to over 2 feet of snow. I was actually watching a little bit of the Weather Channel yesterday, Louis, and I'm surprised y'all getting a snowstorm early. And it is all over the place. Yes, it's a big snowstorm, apparently. Looks beautiful, though, I must tell you. So morning to Aliano. He says, as it's going to get good morning, well, as good as it's going to get. Oh, Friday. Oh, it could get better, Aliano. You never know. Morning, Nathina. You little brat says, that's all the new listeners coming in 2023. Even more fans. Aw. Tanya says, embrace your dream. Maybe is opening up doors for you. He opens up doors every day, whether I dream or not. Everything is a matter of perspective, is it not? I have always been a dreamer, quite literally. From a child, I used to have recurring dreams and stuff all the time. You know, I think your dreams allow you to process certain things that may be in your waking hours that you don't necessarily process in the same way. Or something could just be heavy on your brain. Now, the reality of why I had that dream, I'm going to tell y'all really what it was. So about 4 o'clock in the morning, my daughter woke up and came to my room and said she was having a dream about someone coming in her house and taking my money. Well, I don't have any money. Definitely not at home. So I said to her, oh, honey, don't worry about it. Nobody's going to take mommy's money because she doesn't have any. So that makes it super easy. You go back to bed now. And I walked her back to her bed and tucked her back in. So I'm sure, I can't quite remember the sequence now, but I'm pretty sure that after I went back to sleep was when I had the dream about people coming in the house. That's because she just woke me up talking about somebody's coming in the house. And that was heavy in my brain. That's how the subconscious works. There's probably not much more to this. So y'all don't need to get all up in arms this morning about the good Lord trying to send me a message. He can actually send me a message in my waking hours when I'm fully cognizant and fully awake. So Anne says there's no such thing as a small or big sin. Sin is sin, and we all have sinned according to God's word. I guess so, but, call me different if I want to believe that someone who has molested a child is still different than someone who tells a white lie or something. They're not the same in my book, honey chill. Nor will I treat them the same. So Tanya says, your vision is speaking to you. Well, like I said, The vision was because my daughter woke me up and said something, and then that was on my subconscious mind. Y'all need to calm down now. Calm down this morning. You little brat says religion is a whole different thing. It was not supposed to be a whole different thing than a spiritual relationship with a higher power. That's spirit. Yeah, people are into religion, you little brat. Trust me. The power of religion in this community is wow. It's quite shocking. And if we were really such religious and God-fearing people, we would be doing better with crime and all these other things. It's like Jamaica and Cayman have more churches per square foot than anywhere in the world. But yet, look at us. Y'all don't need to try to convert nobody else, honey child. Trust me. Y'all need to just look at the reality. Let me put on my vitamin E and the God-given face that he's given me. Because the Lord saith, take care of thy skinneth, or you will dry out and look pruned up before you're 55. Amen. I got an amen up in the house. A hallelujah. Yes. Mm-hmm. The Lord gave me good common sense. Said, take care of your skin, Sandy. They clean black, don't crack, but I don't know about that. You got to moisturize. All right. Louis says, this is ironic. Eye opener. The lender loans $500 to one person and $50 to the other. Over time, the lender forgave the debts. Who would love the lender the most? Ooh, Louis, you're taxing my brain this morning. Good morning, caller. Hello.
Morning, sis. How are you this morning?
Oh, Lord.
You look lovely as
You're trying to beat me over the head with the Bible this morning?
No, I'm not going to beat you over the head with the Bible, child.
Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. Praise God.
No. That is that personal decision between you and God.
All right.
I can't get involved with that. I can't push you to that, and I can't dictate if you must become a Christian, yes or no.
Mm-hmm.
But you said that we are a Christian community.
So them
and
say.
yes, we are. Yes.
Mm-hmm. We are. Oh, hello? You better talk to the Lord about that WhatsApp signal too. Get him to work on some of these telecoms while you're at it. Hello? The signal lost. Scott, good morning. Lavana, good morning. Good morning, Gina. Charlotte joining us from Scotland. Hello? I don't know what happened. Try calling back, child. The Lord gonna work a miracle in the meantime. Nathina says, Sandy, can you do a show speaking about labor laws? Because a lot of people, because I noticed a lot of companies are abusing the staff with sick days, vacation days, compassionate and bereavement. Oh, Lord. Also ask Deputy Governor Francis to condemn paid and unpaid leaves. Well, poor France, he's recovering. Should we call France this morning? You think he's up for a little phone call just to check in and show some love from CMR? I'm going to play his message here in a second, but let's hear what Carmelie has to say. Carmelie? You better talk to the Lord about that signal, child.
Yes, sir. A while ago, while I was talking to you. But what I'm saying, when you say that we are a community country and out in the Christian community country, yes, we are a Christian community country. And I remember growing up back in the days, more of the churches rallying around to people, like reaching out to individuals and speaking with them and visiting the sick and all that kind of stuff. And me, myself, personally, have noticed that kind of shift a little bit. I don't know why, and I never question it why, but I think that we need to get back to that place where the churches start to reach out, back in the community and reach out to the young people and host more community activities, and in those days that kind of help the young people, because there's a lot of peer pressures out there, you know. A lot of peer pressure is out there with these young people. So you find that they get themselves in all different type of trouble. And then again, you know, I just want to leave that little piece right then. I'm going too much into the religion thing with you. And then again, you said something earlier about you know, individuals that coming from the outside world, sinful outside world, and then becoming a Christian and giving their lives to Christ. And to me, I kind of understand that you're saying that they forget where they're coming from and what they have done. Yes,
No. That's actually not. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is the bigger the sinner. Apparently, this is just my personal observation. Of course, everybody can choose to disagree. But the bigger the sinner, the bigger they feel like they have to overcompensate when it comes to religion. Like there's a young lady. I won't be calling any names, but you know, she had a reputation for dealing with every Tom, Dick, Harry, Sally, Joanne, everybody in between, and all sorts of other stuff. You know, sleeping with men for money and getting pregnant for one guy. Then 3 times later, it was like an episode of Jerry Springer. It's like, nope, you're not the father of the second child, and just all kind of foolishness and drama. And all of a sudden she found the Lord. And everything is about the Lord now. Everything is like, oh my God, I was driving and I saw a fly, and that fly was the Lord reincarnated, and good Jesus. And I'm like, you know, I read her posts on social media and I'm like, somebody needs to stop this girl, because she's gone from one. It's like the pendulum swings wide. And it maybe it's just the person's personality. Like they were always batshit crazy on the one end. That's why they were out there doing the most, and they, like, you know, their attitude, even when they were sinning, they're like, oh, I gotta go big when I commit a sin. I gotta go hard. And now that they're on the other side trying to be a good person, they go hard with that too. I'm like, wow. I don't like it. I don't like extremes. Extremes bother me. I don't like extremes. I think people who are fanatic, and I don't care what direction.
Some people do take it to the next level and make it look extreme, but I'm going to. They don't make it look extreme. It is extreme.
Child, it's extreme. Athena said, Jerry. I'm not here to condemn. I'm here to give my opinion.
No. You in particular, you know, I'm not saying you in particular, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying you in particular, but the world should not judge and condemn a person, no matter what they was or who they was when they were out in the world. From the moment that they accept Christ as their personal Savior, God is the only person at this stage can judge them and forgive them for all that they have done. And from you accept Christ as your personal Savior, and He have washed you clean, then turn a new leaf. You went to the next stage. Whatever it is in my past, remain in my past. Yes, memories may pop up, and that when those memories pop up, it's a testimony to move forward in your life, to know that God have moved you from one spot to the other spot, so that you can continue. We had a religious Wednesday already, so I don't really want this to take over the show again. But let me ask you one question, right? When you let me ask you a question. When you have found the good Lord and you're on this journey of trying to make it into the pearly gates of heaven, is it also not your responsibility to go and apologize to the All right. Well, I'm not giving nobody no guarantees, honey child. That's between you and the Lord. I don't know where you're going, but would it not be incumbent on you to make right the wrongs that you have done? Like to actually go out there and apologize to those people and say, "Listen, I have found the Lord." I can't speak about nobody else, but I have did it publicly on my Facebook and said anybody that I offended, I would like to say I'm sorry.
No.
That is part of a public platform, because I never see everybody.
How many people you need to apologize to? But how long is the
But if
list?
it's the world, listen, I don't have to apologize to them to get forgiveness from God. I can ask God for forgiveness within myself, and it's an extended forgiveness for them. From I sit here in my bedroom or wherever and kneel on my knees and or lie down on my back or however I want to pray and ask God to forgive me for the people that I hurt, forgive me for the things that I've done.
That's
and
it.
trust me,
Let me
your sister.
let me
You
ask
know
you.
your sister.
Let me ask you something, right? I was speaking to someone the other day who unfortunately was molested by the church pastor, right? And apparently in that church, they had this belief that, you know, you'll get into heaven if you just ask for forgiveness every single day. So he was going around molesting little girls and molesting people's children. And then the next day, as long as he lived to see the next day and ask for forgiveness, the good Lord is going to let him into the pearly gates of heaven. Please tell me this don't make no sense.
Of course. Yeah, it doesn't make sense to you, but it does make sense.
So I can sin every single day and molest children and wake up and then say, Lord, forgive me, and do it all over again? That's not that.
I'm going to stop you there. Have a wonderful day.
No, sir. All right, my dear child.
Love you.
All right. Bye-bye. Have a good day. No, my love. Something wrong. Yeah. Good morning, Sonia. John. Raymond says elbow cough. Keep it moving. Yes, Shaw. We're not going to go down that rabbit hole again today because y'all know when it comes to religion, y'all will never stop talking. Bishop Hero Blair. He says it feels so nice to be wake up in Grand Cayman this morning. Welcome, sir. Welcome back home. How are you? Love you, Sandy, says Sarah. She needs to apologize to the people she has hurt, not God. God would want her to apologize. What a load. Same thing I was thinking. And I know somebody she could start with. She say I know her, and I do know her a little bit. I mean, after all, she is my sister. So I'm just saying, I got half your list covered. I can give it to you. Putting it in social media. Them old people not got social media. So you better go talk to them in person, honey child. Make them see if they can find some forgiveness. What a mess. Whoa, what a mess, I tell you. Dean Sinclair, good morning to you, my love. She says, good morning to the CMR community. Blessings be here with you. Thank you. Shannon says you can claim that you're a Christian and believe in whatever you want, but you can't be nice and do good. But what? But if you can't be nice and do good towards people, all of your beliefs mean nothing. Miss Bonnie says God hates confusion. I'm glad you say that because a lot of Christians ain't nothing but confused. A lot of these churches confused too. That's why they can get up in the pulpit and be supporting politicians who are confused and abusive and all this other kind of stuff. You can believe that they use church time for that kind of foolishness. Ugh, y'all need to do better. Anyway, the wonderful thing is we all enjoy freedom of thought in this beautiful country. We all enjoy freedom of religion. And you can believe anything you want, including confusion. And, as long as you don't encroach on other people too much, you can pretty much do whatever you want in a religious environment. All the Holy Ghost and jumping and all that kind of stuff. But don't go to people's homes and give them no juice in a feeding tube and take them out for 6 hours so that their family don't know where they are. That is either criminal trespass, kidnapping, or something. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Sandy. How are you?
My dear, blessed as always. What's going on?
I totally agree with the whole, don't go into someone's house and give them something to drink and all that. I agree with that. That's crossing a line.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to say one thing, keep it short and sweet. Not everyone that claims they're a Christian is a Christian.
Thank you, my dear.
And Jesus himself told the Pharisees the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So
I know.
I am a Christian and I believe in God, and it's very unfortunate that many people that say they are not.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say to anyone out there listening, don't let your salvation and your relationship with God depend on other people who are hypocrites, because unfortunately there are a lot of them.
Mm-hmm. Well, short and sweet. Weekend, Sandy. Thank you. You too. We love it. Short and sweet. And people, listen, people deceive in all different ways, and religion has been the biggest tool ever used to deceive people individually and the masses. I mean, trust me, like I said, these preachers out there assaulting people, and they're doing so in the name of religion. And it's so sad, because what ends up happening is you have people who refuse to go to church, who have lost their religious belief. They might still believe in God. And like I said, religion is, I'm not a big believer in religion per se, but believing in a higher power and having that relationship with a higher power is probably the way to go. But religion tries to get you to conform to certain things. And sometimes they excuse abuses that are happening in churches in the name of God and the Bible and so on. It's really quite unfortunate, to be honest. But anyway, that's not really our topic today. Let's talk about the police conference, press conference yesterday. So Live says our family believes in God, but we don't believe in religion. Religion is man-made. Everton says one of the biggest problems to me, don't force your Christian belief onto other people. I was listening to the caller, and she sounds so wild up. You don't even want to listen to what you, and wound up, you didn't even want to listen to what you have to say, and then call yourself a Christian. It's not judging him because I don't know him. That was her, but just the way I think. Nathina says, boy, Bobo, you hitting the hypocrites with sharp nails this morning. Louis says, love has to be the religion, and a peace of mind is the heaven that is cherished. Die to yourself and go to heaven. Shed selfishness and love. Your faith governs you. Everton says, we have a lot of these people in the United States called and South Christian and the Christian community. They support people like Herschel Walker. Unbelievable. Herschel Walker is that African-American guy that was running for, what was he running for? Was it mayor or governor or something? Did he get elected? I never did follow up, but were Americans that stupid? Yeah, he was the one who was saying that he doesn't believe in abortions, but then one woman came forward and said, well, why did you force me to get one? Lord, take the wheel. Drive the bus for us, because sometimes it's going off the rails. All right, so good morning to the Honorable France Manderson this morning, Deputy Governor. My tweet him. I'm so glad that France is A-OK, because he was able to send us a little voice note yesterday, which I'll play here in a second. This person says, good morning. Carmely is a Christian now? What a hot mess of a Friday morning. She is one that has gone from one extreme to the next, says this listener to the program. Lord Jesus. Don't make Carmely come back and actually might shed that Christianity real quick. How about the people that pray on Facebook, says this person. Oh man, I tell you what, I have seen some stuff. I mean, honestly, the way that people, I mean, I get it. Okay, you have this bag of, in your head, you think, oh my God, I've been, I've been the town doorknob. Everybody has had a turn on me. And so now that you found the good Lord, you feel like you have to go from one extreme to the next. And I'm like, there is a middle ground, honey child. You don't have to sleep with everybody under the sun. You don't have to sleep with anybody at all. But we don't need to have your every moment and every thought and every dream captured and interpreted about how the Lord tried to save you from, oh, I didn't have money in the bank, and all of a sudden I found $1 on the floor, and wow, the Lord has saved me from starvation. Honey child, you were not going to starve. It's like the stories and the twists and the turns, and sometimes I read them and I think to myself, does this person know how they sound? Like, does a previous sinner still reside in that person to think, this sounds crazy? Wow. Shall I just keep scrolling? Listen, I'm like Sandy. Don't even comment on the post. You have freedom of choice to keep scrolling. Keep them little fingers and that mouse going click, 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 click. Just keep going. This person says, too much preaching going on this week. Oh my God, next. The reason I don't go to church, hypocrites. Lord have mercy. Listen, I know what y'all love more than This person says the grass is always greener over the septic tank. Oh, that's a good one. I love it. Listen, I know what y'all love on this show. Y'all love some salacious, gossipy things and going after crook. So we're going to have one here for you in a second. This person says, Minister Brian will be on Radio Cayman with OC this morning, coming on CMR2, laughing out loud. Good morning, by the way. You're a damn fool. They didn't say fool. You a damn fool about take care of on a skinnet. Oh, God. Yes, the Lord gave you humor, child. Find it within yourself. This person says, good morning, enjoying the show this morning. Happy Friday. Happy Friday to you. Someone else says, you're killing me too early this morning. Hot mess. Go make her come and beat me up. This person said, oh gosh. No, sir. What a hot mess. All right. Y'all not easy. Y'all are not easy. Let me just sip on my tea. I might need 2 cups of tea this morning. Okay, he was running for Senate seat in Georgia. He's in a runoff. What? A runoff? Are you kidding me? Enough people voted for him for there to be a runoff? Ooh, America, y'all need prayer. Can y'all pray for America, please? America needs deliverance and Jesus and Buddha. And what's the next one there? From name a couple Hindu people, the elephant god. They need everything that they can get. Every religion, America needs it. They need Allah. They need Abdullah and Shaka Khan and everybody in between. Because what the heck? America, wow. So much confusion. This is a result of church and state uniting in the dark. Child, they don't even unite in the dark. They do it in broad daylight, where some of us are here for it. We're like, yes. Speaking of church and state, let's address this and then we're going to quickly move on. Remember the exorcism story that we exposed? When was that? Hold on. Let me go back to the website now. Come to find out, and I'd heard this about 2 weeks ago, not the principal, but the teacher who assisted with the exorcism there at Red Bay Primary. She is back. And everybody's like, what? Back in the classroom with your children. Now, this is when I would homeschool, honey child. I'd be like, oh, let me Google. Dr. Google, how to homeschool my child so they don't end up being exercised against. Is that how you'd say it? Exercised against? Is that the proper tense of exorcism? Exercised against? Possibly. I don't know. But anyway, yes, honey child, she's back in the classroom. Wow. You know, they've been paying them full pay this time anyway. So the government's like, well, we might as well just get them back in there. Whoa. Something wrong with y'all. And I bet you they're gonna do it again too. So it's so interesting. Oh my God. I almost spit out my tea. I went to the Compass website. Yes, I'm going to admit to going because they actually have the story about the exorcism teacher, the update. So I wanted to have a quick look and see if they ever named her. And there on the Compass website, come on, y'all. Let's look at the Compass website while we're here. Come on. Because it's probably the only time you've seen it in the past 6 months. So just work with me. Work with me, y'all. Work with me now. All right. Hold on a second. All right, look, yeah. Paid content. Look at this. Woo! These companies be bamboozling y'all and you have no clue what's going on. Cayman Compass, K-Compass. They changed it from Caymanian Compass, but y'all know. Y'all know why back in the day, because it wasn't about Caymanians at all. Look at this now. Partner content. That means it's paid. It's an advertorial. Cayman First had to pay to get a story in about how they're committed to clients, employees, business partners, and community. Wow, really? Y'all not easy though. But you know what? Good for the Compass. Because they sent us the same press release and they weren't willing to pay for it. They mentioned no money being transferred. They must have thought we were going to just publish it. Joke is on them. Wow. Dear clients and business partners. Well, this is old news because we shared this about 3 weeks ago when we actually discussed Cayman First. But they actually have to pay to tell people what a wonderful company they are. Don't believe them, honey child. I made my last house payment to them this week and I am moving. Island Heritage, here I come, baby. Get ready. No, my love. Island Heritage. I mean, Cayman First. I'm going to do the updated story this weekend because you know what? They're trying to bamboozle the doctors and the medical association, whatever, into not complaining about them because they claim that they're the ones who make them look bad. Well, if you're not paying the people, what do you expect? Good morning, caller.
Good morning. Right on cue. The insurance companies thinking about the medical side of insurance business offered in transfer for local consumption. The government really needs to look at that. Because I got big mouth and I chat all the time. But if you hear the stories from the people on the ground, people like me, you got no voice in this country. Et cetera. That's exactly what I was calling about.
Wow.
The insurance, and I do believe the government needs to look from the perspective of the medical board, because the medical board should be getting some complaints where the government can see and understand really what is happening. Because I don't know if the people wouldn't even know where to go. That I can just use the word rip off. Like it's a qualified, coached, and protected rip off with the insurance companies.
Yep. And they're on it. Let me tell you.
Oh my God! And here you're talking about another something. It mightn't be so blaring and so huge, but I mean, why don't we look at the government? If doctors aren't being paid for the services they render, a doctor is not somebody down some hotel washing dishes and arranging pots, If lawyers can't advance, that's another grouse I have. You were on it yesterday, but if lawyers Caymanian educated, trained lawyers can't make a move in their own country, there seems to be no upward mobility, like they're laughed at in their field. I mean, these are people at the highest realm that humanity can go. They did their time. They paid the price. They did the studies. They gave up their lives. And they're not making it, and the government just sits there. Oh, we're here for 4 years. One of these days, the people going to understand, and you will also understand. You governing me and anybody else, Mr. and Mrs. Government, is a situation where I allow you to do that. You bring together some scheme and it seems to work good. Then you say, okay, I can run for such and such. But at the end of the day, I have to acquiesce that you can govern me. Because I don't think that God put any more blood in you than he put in me, that for inch and pound and penny and pence, we got that amount, and we walking good, we going good, we talking good. I mean, you're not just sitting down in chair to fly off on companies, on countries' coffers, so on and so forth. Then you got your own doctors and your own lawyers in trouble, and you don't do anything about it. Imagine what people like me on the bottom absolutely know. If you're not taking care of them, bro, He ain't taking care of me.
Yep,
And
absolutely.
people are hurting, and that's people at the TOP top.
Mm.
And me, I just want to see some Caymanian judges before I die. And I don't know why Caymanians can't advance. If the law school in the Cayman Islands it isn't adequate, then you make it adequate. This is yours. That's your job to do. If they graduate inadequate, but they can read and write, they understand the principles of law, send them someplace else and make them catch up, bring them back. It's called fast tracking. Same thing with the police. I heard a police story on Radio Cayman yesterday. Yeah, with a young person there, complaining again. All across the spectrum of humanity in Cayman, once you're a Caymanian, this young man complaining vociferously and talking about the ganja part that he has when he's smoking ganja and so on and so forth. Well, that's on the acceptable list now, like mine told me yesterday morning. So you can't talk about them when they do it now. So anything besides that, they're trying, help them to try government, and that is the PAC government. That's Mr. Wayne Panther. I try not to be disrespectful, Mr. Chris Saunders, trying not to be disrespectful. But you got Caymanians at the very top, in the very top professions around the world, and you got us down at the very bottom. And there is no middle class in between. So, try do something. Insurance, medical insurance, and give me some judges for I did. I own up. My hair is completely gray. Bye.
Thank you very much. Omeria is a little bit upset this morning. She feels like we're making fun of the Lord. Child, we're not making fun of the Lord. We're making fun of people who go to extremes in the name of the Lord, or so they claim. There's a huge difference. Morning, Robert. Happy Friday. Lizette says holy water for all of those children in that classroom. I tell you what, they better not do it again. It was really disturbing, though. And again, we're talking about religious fanatics. And let me be very clear. This is the height of religious fanaticism when you have people wanting to throw holy water on elementary school children talking foolishness. Morning, caller. Hello?
Hello?
Hi, morning.
Morning. As far as I know, I just wanted to say there's a health insurance commission.
Yes, there is.
That you can complain to in regards to health insurance. And I think in terms of other insurance companies, they're regulated by SEMA.
Yeah, well,
just in
apparently
case people don't know where to complain.
Yes, we appreciate that. And in fact, we know that some of the physicians have already complained to SEMA. We know that some have complained to the Health Insurance Commission. So there are complaints out there against Cayman First, despite them having to pay for a good article. The truth of the matter is the streets are talking that, they're doing a horrible job right now managing their claims. And what they've done to physicians, which is unfortunate, is they're trying to pretend like there's an issue with the claim, because there is a segment of the law, that section, I have to look it up, that says you have to pay a claim within 30 days unless, you raise a query. So what they're doing now to try to justify not paying people is every single claim that comes in, they're going to find something they claim is wrong with it to try to delay the process. And they say, oh, well, we were checking this and this and this, so we have a legal right to do that. We're on to them.
Well, what I would recommend, because most of the doctors and so forth, they will know about the Health Insurance Commission. But what I would recommend is the patients and the people that have insurance with Cayman First, they now need to take things in their own hands and complain as well. Because if they're a mass complaint,
something has to be done.
Something has to be wrong.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. I mean, one physician has gone so far. I need to find that sign of putting in his medical office that no insurance will be accepted from Cayman First. He can't accept their customers unless you're paying cash, which is unfortunate because a lot of times we go to the doctors, we don't have the cash to pay. We need the insurance. We can pay our copay or whatever, but it's really, really unfortunate. So it's impacting people in a real way. So hopefully they'll get it together sooner rather than later.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
All right, my dear. Thanks too for that. And in the meantime, they are going to lose business because, like I said, there are people like me who have a choice who to go with. And I don't like dealing with people and doing business with people who are not good corporate citizens. Because if they're not paying their bills, you understand the trickle-down effect and how that impacts all of us. Like I said, if I walk into a doctor's office and I have Cayman First for health insurance and I see that sign, oh, we're not going to accept Cayman First right now, you have to pay cash, you may not have it. What if you have an emergency situation? They're not going to accept it? I mean, this is actually quite scary, to be honest. So I don't know. They're not going to be getting my money to carry on foolishness like that. No, sir. Britt K, are you in the house this morning? Tell us about your plans, honey child. I'm going with Island Heritage because I actually have all my vehicles with Island Heritage. And so I think I get a little extra discount. And I've never had an issue with Island Heritage, I must be honest with you. No problems. I don't think I've ever really had to make a claim. But anyway, I'm trying to think about this now. I think we had back during Ivan in our apartment complex, we had Island Heritage and no problems. They weren't trying to hoodwink anybody, lowball people and all that kind of foolishness. Yeah. Y'all be careful. Some of these insurance companies not easy. But I had a little chuckle this morning when I was looking for the exorcism story and I saw that they had to pay to have that article put in there. Good for Compass. That's how they make their money. I don't blame them. I'm going to start following their model, charge for everything. All right. So, so the exorcism teacher is back in the classroom. To this day, we've had no reports in terms of what happened. This is the part that gets me about government, right? Things will happen. You will have rogue teachers, rogue administrators, all this kind of stuff. But government never makes a statement about anything that they should be making a statement on. And this to me is a bit concerning, to say the least, right? Let me give you another example. Atto Stevens, he was the coach who was convicted of the lesser offenses of basically requesting child pornography from a child and abusing her through WhatsApp messages. And there was like thousands of messages between him and his child. It was just absolutely ridiculous. By the way, parents, please do not give your children access to phones and not be able to monitor and know every single message that comes in. For God's sake, there are monitoring tools and technology out there. Avail yourself of them ASAP. Because I would have thumped him on his head if he had messaged my child. And you got to see some of the messages. Oh, he was a dirty little thing. I bet you he gone turned Christian now too. And probably a church pastor in America. By the way, these child molesters never stop. I'm telling y'all. They move from one jurisdiction to the next so they can continue doing the dirt. But thank God we got rid of him. And we wouldn't have gotten rid of him if I wasn't here raising the alarm bell. Because the progressives government like, oh no, he married to Caymanian. I don't give two cahoots. I don't care who he married to. He could be married to the Virgin Mary, as far as I'm concerned. He did not earn the right after trying to molest. And believe me, I believed he molested her. They couldn't prove it, so he wasn't convicted of that. So we can tell you about the allegations. And all these big men in Cayman, let me tell you now about them. When that case is going on, big, hard back Cayman and men tell me, I never did like how he was moving around them young girls, And I said, really? Yeah, when I would go to them football matches and them, I would see him, and you never said a thing. You never did anything. Really? And y'all want to talk about we a Christian community. Y'all need hush. Y'all need to do better. Because the Christ-like thing to do would have been probably to get angry, because there were times when Jesus did that, and take one of them staff rods and bust his head open. That might have been more Christ-like than saying nothing and allowing him to continue to molest people's children, allegedly. Anyway, do you remember the government of the day, which at the time would have been the progressive government, making any kind of statement after the conviction, because their excuse during is like, oh, no, we don't get involved in these things. It's a matter for the court. Justice has to take its course. Okay, fine. Justice took its course. And the judge had some very, very strong words for this man. I remember sitting there, I think it was Justice Wood. I'll have to double check the article, but he was like, you are a sick man. The things you were doing to this poor child is disgusting. And I wish I could send you to jail longer, but the slackish legislation doesn't allow it. He said, what you did is beyond egregious. All right, so the man convicted, you have a judge saying all these things, and our politicians sitting back there, not a word. The women don't say nothing. The men don't say nothing. The premier don't say nothing. The, minister of sports and youth and whatever don't say nothing. Don't talk about, you know what, this was a very concerning case. We are going to continue to implement safeguarding policies to protect your children. I mean, they don't even have to get into the nitty gritty of him being a disgusting person. Because remember, after he was convicted, he was trying to fight the athletic association. That gone quiet now. But remember, his wife was still, what was she at the time? Vice president or secretary or something. And he was appealing their decision to remove him and trying to fight them. And his wife is sitting there like everything is hunky-dory. Now you see, when I talk about Caymanians being complicit in criminal activity and harboring people, which we're going to get to that conversation here in a minute, this is another prime example. You married to a man who ran from this jurisdiction, right? After being accused and was about to get arrested for molesting a child. You were not only willing to ignore that, but you were flying to Miami every opportunity to go visit him with your children. You better be careful, woman. And sending him money and all kind of stuff in the States so he could continue to live a good life. That's how they tracked down where he was to get him extradited, because they were watching her movements. I bet she wasn't so bright and didn't know that. Right? You got him in the neighborhood right in Savannah, in your house, with children living in these neighborhoods and stuff, trying to harbor him. Here you are, president of the Athletic Association. Is she still president or secretary? And you're allowing him to send in an appeal letter. Well, listen here, honey child. That's the kind of thing that is wholly unacceptable in this community. And I am still shocked to this day that there was not more of a public outcry. And these are the things I'm talking about. Like, I am bothered when people in this community claim that they're Christians. And I don't hear them speaking out on these very important moral topics. Protecting your children. I'm sure the Bible must say in some verse that we must do everything in our power to protect children and old people. Find the verse and let me know where it is, because I'm sure it's there. And they remain silent. I'm disturbed. Good morning, caller. Hello.
You try to behave yourself.
My love.
Your hand will go back into the page where you can find that chapter and verse, because everything is there in the Bible.
Yes.
But let me tell you the story about that story you was just talking about. One day, Big Mouth Charlie was down in a shoe store talking and blah, 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 blah. Somebody from the government organization that deals with sports came in. Not somebody that I chit-chat to or anything that much, but we were civil. We went to the store and I was there, blah, blah. But I think that when he come out of prison and he should be going, blah, blah, blah. Not knowing, I didn't know what the sentence is structured. But I just thought then they took him out, he going about his business, get on the airplane. A little bit of totalitarianism is not too bad, You do what pleases you at the moment.
Yes.
You should have gotten on the plane, according to my mind.
Yeah.
Oh, well, my phone came by and took me down a peg or two. And I say, okay, Charlie, that means you don't understand that law. So hush your mouth. And now, these are people of you would say, stature on these boards, etc., etc. And she is there, to me, I thought she was defending him. And really, she might have been defending him, but maybe she wasn't. She was just trying to straighten my head out about what the circumstances are surrounding this situation. But you see, that's why they can't invite me to go no place, not even to dinner party, because I really don't know how to behave.
But you notice, right? And I have to, Charlene, I have to purposely remind people, 'cause I know Caymanians have a very short memory. That's why we keep electing the same failures every 4 years, right? And I have to remind people of some of these events because I feel like people just forget. Remember now, the previous administration claimed that they could not do anything about him, that he had a right to remain in this country. And so we started to kick up and say what? He has the ability to go to Trinidad and Tobago, where he's from. He's an American citizen. He could go there. And if his Caymanian wife wants to support that level of slackness, she can well pack her bags and go with him. So he has a choice. Yes.
This Caymanian wife, if I think that's a paper person.
Well, regardless, we have accepted her. Now, listen, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. When she was representing Cayman, she was good enough to be called a Caymanian. So even now, let's give her that. She's a Caymanian. I don't care where she was born and how she get it. Yeah, give it to her. Let's call her Caymanian wife because guess what? She would not be the only example of a Caymanian stupid enough to support a child molester and keep them in this country. Oh, you'd be mistaken if you think she's the only one. Remember the one West Bay with the man molesting the step granddaughter out in the shed, penetrating her, and his this is why I gotta remind y'all. And his Caymanian taxi driver wife was the one who was up in immigration talking about don't send him off and keeping him here after he molested her own granddaughter, right there in the district of West Bay. I'm telling you. The foolishness that Caymanians allowed to go on in this country, and we want to blame expats for some of this. We need to pull up our big girl panties and tell the truth now. Yes, lots of it is going on.
No flossing.
No, sir.
No, but like I said, I took it at first that, here she is defending him, but then I put another lens on it that she could maybe just be advising me, though she is in that realm anyway, and it might build friendship and so on and so forth. But she really took it on in an aggressive way that says, like I say, I felt like, oh my goodness, oh my God, who's on this child's side?
Nobody, and that's the problem. And let us also not forget. When we had, again, another Caymanian child molester, because those two were not Caymanians, I should point out. But this one now, what was his name again? I believe their last name begins with a W. He related to the one there that was prospect molesting his own daughter. And the mama used to walk up and down and go to church every Sunday too. And walk up and down the Newlands arterial bypass, talking about let anybody without sin throw a stone at her son. Webster, yes. Remember when the next one, now the fireman Webster, molested that little girl. And we had video footage, which is like unbelievable of what he was doing to this poor child. Do you not remember the same Caymanians that were all over social media? Well, I know you're not on social media, so you might not have heard the hoopla. And we didn't have a daily show then because I would have tore them a new you-know-what. Talking about, this child, why would she be recording this? She's to blame. She too fast. She too this. I was like, what? If you heard, I don't know if you ever saw the video, but unfortunately it's seared in my brain because I saw it. This man was sitting there begging this child to do more with him. And the poor little girl, my God, was like, no, I don't want to do that. She is fighting him off with her words. And these no good Caymanians, talking about they Christians and they up in church and they this and they that, and they high society people and all kind of foolishness, were having conversations on social media in between themselves, blaming that child for the predicament she found herself in. You can imagine.
Well, who I had conversations about is where were the parents? what
Well, let
how
me tell you something. Charlene, it's unfortunate that a lot of parents trust the wrong people. They trust people who come to them with a certain face. And again, he was big up in church, want to pretend like he was assistant pastor and deacon and this and that. And people want to trust. If you tell them, oh, I'm in church and I'm a good person, they want to believe you. And he was always doing stuff with the kids, you know, helping him out, giving him stuff. People, like, I don't know nothing about the young lady personally or her parents or whatever, but I can tell you, generally speaking, people want to trust other people, especially when they come in the name of the Lord.
But is it that they want to trust other people, or they want that babysitting service that some
maybe it's a combination, but I think a lot of people want to trust. They push you into, oh, go to, no, they tell you get involved in these church activities, go to this, go to soccer, go to this. You know, they feel like the more activities you do, the better. You're going to be around good people. And those are sheep's in wolf's clothing, ready to tear your children apart, quite literally.
But let me ask you, this round, what happened to the registry that you've been...
my dear, oh no. Oh no. Oh no.
But we really need one. We really need one.
Listen, we finally got to the point where about 10 years ago, the Attorney General was willing to admit that we do need a registry. And all now, the dial has never been moved. And you know why it's never been moved? Because there's no political motivation to do so. Because half of them would probably be on the registry one day because they know their track record. You don't think we have child molesters who are serving as MPs right now? Oh,
I hope not.
Try hush, child. Don't get me started this morning. But you have to lock me up for real.
I chuckle, but
yes.
I'm not laughing.
Believe me, I can think of at least 3 or 4 that I am certain about. One, oh my God, so prolific. Yes. Uh-huh.
But we really need that registry now. I was always kind of hesitant about it because people could use that registry for bad things too. People that are evil. We are just evil. They could use that for bad things too. So but it doesn't stop in Cayman. It won't stop in Cayman.
And this is the sad thing. It doesn't stop anywhere. These people, if they have the opportunity, they will do what they will do. And nothing will stop them but the law. And that's why we have to have certain, let me put it this way, not just the law. We have to educate. There's an educational component that is required. So we do have to educate our children, but it is very, very difficult for a child. No matter how much you feel like you have prepared them, you've educated them, good touch, bad touch, whatever. If someone has gained their trust, right? It is very difficult for a child to come to you and say, this person who I might care about and love, and I saw as a good person has done something bad to me. Children cannot understand and reconcile it in their little brains, right? And yet we as adults, a lot of times we can't even reconcile when people do bad to us. And we have this expectation of children as though they can process things in the same way as adults. And so the children are even afraid of coming forward to their parents and teachers and other people in the community. And there's too much cloaking up of this that happens on a daily basis. Alejandro says the sex education still taught in school. Honey child, please. You know who the biggest culprits of not teaching sex education in schools is? Shocker. Y'all ready for this one? This going to require a kaboom moment. What's your guess?
Christian community.
Yes.
I know that.
The church. Some of these private schools are owned by churches have refused to teach appropriate sex education and child protection, right? Courses. They would rather keep your children ignorant and more likely to become a victim because of that ignorance. It is a sad situation.
But we really need that. I believe this country. I don't know how you advance it, how you trigger it. But again, I think it's a government thing, a political thing, and I think we do really need something like that.
Charlene, let me talk about this exorcism thing a little bit more, because one of the most when we broke this story, one of the most serious situations. This was early May of 2021, right? And here we are now going into almost 2 years, and we still not hearing nothing, no report, no nothing. And this is when I say that the government needs to do better. If MASH is going to investigate this, as they claim that they have, the education ministry claimed that they were going to investigate it. The people deserve an actual report. Even if you have to redact names of the children and their parents or whatever, you do the redactions and you publish the report. Why do they keep doing all these, investigations, and we never hear the outcome? And not like one of the people is back in the school and we don't know how that happened. We don't know anything about it. Nobody has said, well, she's agreed to this and she's gotten counseling, or, she's going to do that. We don't know. That's how much they think of us. We can't even see a report, an investigative report. These things should be a matter of public interest, and they should be in the public domain. We get reports from the Auditor General's office about financial, misdoings potentially, and where they think that, good governance need to be. This is part of good governance as far as I'm concerned. And most importantly, it involves our children. What should we be more concerned about in this country than protecting our children? It's really, really shocking and unbelievable. One parent at the time said that I'm too furious, let me share this quote, to be able to even explain all of this properly, so I apologize. But how can a principal be asking children of 9 to 11 years old about their sexuality? This is absolutely ridiculous. Not to mention her taking children out of the classroom for this foolishness, along with touching and shaking people's children. Again, her religious fanaticism, right? An obsession about sexuality made her approach 9-year-old children, asking them if they were lesbian. Can you imagine? What? But yet, these are the same fools who don't want to teach proper sex education in schools. But they would rather push their religious notions and beliefs and talking about lesbianism and this and that on these poor children. Have it make sense? Charlene, how does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And then splashing so-called holy water on people's children?
I had heard something about that, but then I didn't hear anymore. So I thought that, when something is out, if it's bad, we want to make it extra bad, and we have some add-ons. So sometimes if I don't hear anything else, I'll say, well, that was an add-on. I really did hear about something along the lines of.
Listen, I personally, like I said, we broke this story, and I did this story myself. Nobody else wrote this story. And I remember these parents and how upset they were at what happened, and them explaining to me what happened. 18 of the 23 children were crying and saying that they don't want to go to hell and have demons inside them. The other day when we were talking about that whole situation in Jamaica with the children fainting and passing out at that school, and even the Jamaican government is saying now, oh Lord, maybe we need to separate church and state a little bit more, put certain standards in place. This was the same thing that happened here. But again, our government downplays it. You know why? Our government downplays it? Now, I know Julie can get vexed at me here today, but I got to tell the truth. Because she herself is a little bit of a religious fanatic, or minister of education. She downplays the whole thing. So she's seen the report. We will never see that report. That report will be buried so far underneath hell in West Bay, we'll never get to it.
But let me ask you something. Was this whole scenario a one-off thing? Or was this...
Well, it only takes the one time, honey Jill, to damage children. I mean, but no, but because it happened, I'm trying to remember. Well, they said 2 shocking instances of the school principal and religious minister, Dr. Vicky Frederick. So there's 2 instances, but I'm trying to remember, and the poor children are trying to prepare for their examinations. No wonder they can't learn, but it's kind of foolishness. But I can't remember It happened Wednesday and Thursday afternoons. Like I said, we had all the details right here, child. Now, this was published on May the 7th. Let me see what date that was. So it might have been a week that, let's go 2021. This was May the 7th. So May the 7th was a Friday. So it happened earlier that week on the, right. So the 2 days before. So listen, we broke the story and then eventually they ended up putting her in leave and claimed that they were going to get investigated and blah, blah, blah. But as usual, my dear Charlene, if we didn't break the story, nothing would have happened. Believe me, I gotta give you another example. I want you to hang up the phone, listen to this one. Because y'all think I just make this stuff up to have something to talk about. But I want you to know that there's a lot happening in this country when it comes to our children that we should be wholly ashamed of. Listen here now. We have, you guys know I keep talking about Kay's Foundation. Listen, if there was one thing in this country right now that I could fix, if y'all came to me and said, Sandy, what's the one thing that you would fix? If the government said to you, we'd like for you to be, I don't know, some kind of attaché to something. What special project would you want? Well, I have to pick something with children. But my loves, I would have to pick the Kay's Foundation because that place is such a hot mess. Y'all not gonna hear this because, again, the powers that be are either wholly ignorant because they put boards in place that then cover stuff up and they don't have a clue, just like what was going on at the port. And when they start asking questions, then the people over at the port got lied to them and give them one position that don't go so. So listen very, very carefully. Do you all know that there was an assault? Sit down, take 2 seats. Because if y'all fall down in my classroom, I'm not gonna be responsible. There was an assault at the Francis Bawden Children's Home. A brawl, a fight, where the children may have finally had enough and beat up the staff. Y'all ask yourself now, why is it that we're not hearing this nowhere else? Police haven't said a word, right? Kay's Foundation hasn't said a word. Government, they probably clueless, so can't say a word. It was so bad that a child took an instrument and beat one lady in particular who then needed hospital assistance. She was beat up pretty badly, I have been told. These children are in crisis mode. They need some serious help, some serious intervention. You bring in your fancy new leadership from overseas and nothing has gotten better because they don't have a clue. Y'all don't know how to handle these children and get these children the help that they need. So now they're assaulting staff. I mean, I understand it was a big fight up in there. Meanwhile, nobody not saying nothing. When we heard about it, we said, oh, okay, well, this sounds like an interesting situation. Went and gave out an email to police, said, officers, police, RCIBS, can you tell us about this incident that allegedly took place at Kay's Foundation? Let me see when that email was sent. That was sent on Monday at 9:57 p.m. Here we are on Friday, and all now we've not received a response to that media query. Now, when we don't get a response, that's because it's 100% true. and they probably so shocked that we know. They're trying to find out who told us. That's normally what they end up doing. Instead of just reporting the truth. We're in crisis mode. Y'all understand what I'm saying? So we've been waiting to put the story up on the website if we could get a response from the authorities. Everybody closed-lipped. Nobody saying nothing. Wow. Alejandro says, no surprise, but true, Sandy. Real Deal says K's Foundation is just another employment agency for Jamaicans. Lord have mercy. Power Liking says, yeah, they're giving them the help. Wait till it get out of control and then dash them in prison. Alejandro says this is exactly the point I was talking about yesterday. Oh, Richard says you should have played a kaboom about the Minister of Education. Lord Jesus. He says you're right again. Unbelievable, right? Oh gosh. Ed, I gotta make sure I get your thing right now. Yours is not alone. I was seeing the Nautica part, but you're saying it's not alone, I think. Oh Lord. He might have changed it. Get a new name, Ed. Listen, he says we're the parents. Whether they are, wherever they are, it doesn't excuse the perpetrator's actions. As a community, we should do better. Well, listen, I've called in parents before. They certainly have a role to play. Thomas says that this place is backwards in a lot of respects. It is. But, we believe we're all good because we sit here and again claim that we're Christians and we go to church. And so that makes it all okay. Dave says, cold hard truth, speak it well, Sandy, because it seems like you're the only one with a moral compass. The government needs to exercise the law of the land. What's the purpose of laws if they only govern some people? When companies steal, they call it business. But when employees steal, they end up going to jail. Right? There is a degree of backwardness to what we have going on here. And it's very, very sad. So they still have not made any comments about that assault situation. Like I said, I do feel like sometimes it's necessary to remind you all. Here's this one, Atto Stevens, right? This hot mess of a situation. We had started an actual petition against him. Y'all might not know this. But back in October of 2019, me, myself, started a petition to get him removed from this country. And then the opposition got on board and said, yes, he should go. Meanwhile, because, the judge said, oh, yes, deport him afterwards, but the judge didn't know all the legalities of him being married to Caymanan and blah, blah, blah. So when it came down to it now, honey child, he was arguing that he had a right to family life and he wasn't going anywhere. It was like, what? Yes, he was well prepared to stay in this jurisdiction. So sad. And the government was claiming that, oh, wow, their hands were tied. Well, after a little protest, somehow they managed to untie their hands miraculously. And then they said, oh, yeah, we're going to get him out of here. It was like, oh, right. Thank you for doing your job. Oh, yeah, we're not going to give him the special, because it was one of those situations where cabinet actually had to sign off on the deportation order. And they were like, no, we can't do nothing about that. So finally, on March the 7th of 2018, we found out that they had signed the deportation order for him 2 days before. And they said as soon as he can possibly get off. No, March the 17th, they gave him until the 16th of March to leave this island. You can imagine. Okay, man. Let me assure you that there's a lot happening here that we, the people, don't always know. And it's causing harm to our children. It's causing harm to the elderly. It's causing harm to disadvantaged people, people with disabilities, and all sorts of stuff. We need to get it together. It's as simple as that, really. So, what are we going to do about Kay's Foundation? Well, despite my numerous cries to every government that gets in to please look at this foundation, y'all need to bring in, I hate to say an expert because y'all bringing these experts from overseas who don't have a clue, right? But you need someone to give you an independent report on the operations of that place. Stop believing what the board is telling you, because the board is simply believing what they're being told by the staff. And the staff half the time be lying and covering up themselves. And nothing will change. Get a grip on what is happening there before somebody loses their life. You got girls who are in the care of the government, having men come through the windows, others trying to commit suicide. We're the only ones who are reporting on this. Children taking bed sheets and trying to hang themselves at Kay's Foundation. Who else reported on this stuff? Nobody. Where are the politicians that claim that they care? Do they not see that that place has to be so dysfunctional? I understand that these children are troubled young people, but there's more that is going on there than meets the eye. The last government failed completely. They got an F when it comes to Kay's Foundation. During the trial of those two care workers at the Bonaventure home, I got to sit there and listen firsthand to how poorly the civil service, the chief officers, and there will be nothing done to them, how they were running the show. Poor, piss poor. That's the only way you could describe it. In court, the froppishness of the former director of Kay's Foundation, he's sitting there saying, why are you asking me these questions? Ask your chief officer. They're the ones who are Caymanians. They're the ones who's supposed to fix this. Pretty much said he was just here for the job. They were asking him things like, were you ensuring that people who were taking children out were competent to do so out in the water, that they could swim? He's like, why are you asking me? Go ask your chief officer. The chief officer never asked me to be competent at my job. That's exactly what this man, he now has passed away, but this is exactly what he was sitting there in court saying. He was beyond rude, but in his rudeness, he was being honest and telling the court the truth. Passing the buck, yes. But ultimately, does the buck not stop with the chief officers? When it comes to the civil service? Speak the truth now. The politicians say their hands are tied with the civil service. They can't tell them to do their jobs. But ultimately, they're going to be held accountable when they don't do their jobs. Okay. And who is holding the chief officers responsible? Even that situation, I'm thinking, wow, somebody needs to do a proper investigative report. Can the Auditor General not help? Because it seems like that's the only report that we listen to. When they do a report, everybody's up in arms like, oh my God, the Auditor General has published a report, because they're the only ones who publish their reports. Look into Kay's Foundation, Auditor General. Please, somebody see the dysfunctionality, the mess that is happening over there. The man got on the stand. You can get copies of all of the court transcripts and the documents. No policies, no standards, no nothing in place. And if they're in place, they're not even being followed, and nobody seems to care. Quite shocking. Morning, Mankind Action Committee. Natalie So sometimes the staff who really cares about the children and the children respects those ones, but the other staff just get jealous and want them out. Well, I can tell you what, they need some shuffling of staff up in there. Who's the HR manager for Case, says Real Deal? Is it the same one that was at the other government agency that was having entanglements with all the Jamaican men? No, honey child, she's not over there now. I don't know who exactly does their hiring. I know they have a board. And again, quite ironically, that's another one of those boards that hasn't been changed under this government, which I mean, I must ask the premier this question. Why are they still boards? Over a year now you guys have been in. Why are there still boards who haven't been changed? You have a right to change. Is it 2/3? Up to 2/3? So what's going on? And if you see that an agency that falls under a board isn't working, just like Miss Cayman, get rid of the board, get rid of the committee. Bring in some more competent people. It's just unbelievable. So yesterday, the police had a press conference. Let's take a little commercial break here. And I do see some WhatsApp messages coming in as well.
Get ready, sports fans. The Cayman Islands Classic NCAA Division I basketball tournament is back at the John Gray Gymnasium from November 21st to 23rd. Come out and enjoy 3 days of nonstop competitive basketball action featuring Kansas State, Western Kentucky, Rhode Island, Nevada, Tulane, Illinois State, Akron, and LSU, who will battle it out on the court for the coveted Cayman Classic Tournament trophy. Witness as some of college basketball's best coaches rally their teams together in this 3-day head-to-head nonstop competitive basketball competition. Get all your tournament passes and general admission tickets today online at eventpro.ky or CaymanIslandClassic.com. November 21st to 23rd, presented by KMAX Sports and proudly sponsored by the Ministry of Tourism and Transport, the Ministry of Youth, Sports, Culture, and Heritage, Tortuga, The Westin, Smoothie King, Cayman Cabana, Captain Marvin's, Cost You Less, Fast Signs, and Flow.
It's November, and November is Gimme Story. The Cayman Islands National Cultural Foundation presents in your district Gimme Story, the Cayman Islands National Storytelling Festival. 6 evenings of free entertainment for the entire family from November the 25th to December the 2nd. Guests arrive at 7 p.m. and show starts at 7:30 p.m. Come on out, because nobody's going to be left behind. We got you covered. West Bay, East End, North Side, Bordentown, Georgetown, and even Cayman Brac. Everyone is going to enjoy a bit of Cayman's history via storytelling. This year, we have the best of Cayman's homegrown and resident storytellers that Anna know from Anna Born, including Rita Eskavanovich, Nasaria Sakushalet, Matt Brown, King Navasa, Giovanni Ebanks, and a host of others. For more information, visit artscayman.org or visit the Facebook page and Instagram page at Cayman Culture. Vote for the best fish fry in every district and wash it down with a little swanky. Did I mention that you get in for free? And they're starting in time, so try and hurry up. Give me a story. That's gonna be a good time this year, so don't miss out.
Crichton Properties is one of Cayman's most trusted real estate companies for over 50 years. We offer a diverse selection of property listings and help our clients navigate the world of buying or selling their properties with confidence. Crichton is a name you can trust with our excellent customer service and family-friendly touch. Contact us today to list your home, land, or condo for sale by calling 949-5250 or email info@crichtonproperties.com. Crichton Properties, a trusted Cereba member.
'Tis the season to advertise your business's holiday specials and sales events. Don't miss out on Cayman's #1 social media, talk show, and website platforms to spread your message to thousands of people locally and abroad. Christmas dining and entertainment venues? Call us today. Retail shopping for special friends and family? Call us today. Christmas rentals and accommodations? Call us today. Cayman's #1 news platform is the best way to reach the largest available audience, resulting in more sales for your business. Contact CMR today at sales@caymanmarlroad.com or 324-1612.
Recover Personal Injury Attorneys, helping injured people get what they deserve. Did you know that insurance companies have lawyers that represent their interests? Before signing and accepting any settlement, know your rights. Call us today for a free consultation at 924-9999. That's 924-9999. Recover. Your personal injury attorneys are on standby to assist.
All right, folks, welcome back to the program. So yesterday we had a press conference with the police, and I suppose they didn't tell us a whole lot that we probably, kind of didn't already know. But one of the interesting things that they did mention that I thought was a bit interesting is the fact that despite what Caymanians might want to believe, they say that they have a list of some 10 persons that they believe are responsible for the recent 400% increase this past year in armed robberies. Some of them have gotten out of jail, and that's just their MO. And it's interesting that they said that because we saw that even recently with this guy, Al Pearson, right? A lot of these criminals, why we have a lull and, then it comes back up and it lulls again, is because when they get incarcerated, the crimes that they normally engage in, obviously, if they're not out in the streets, they're behind bars. Well, they're not going to be out there committing those crimes. Al Pearson, same thing. What does he always do? Stealing people's cars, out in the streets, doing the most to support a drug habit. So were we surprised when his name popped up as the person who stole that brand new 2022, whatever that Chinese vehicle is called? No, I wasn't surprised. I'm like, oh yeah, that totally makes sense actually, that it would be him. When he was in the BRAC, all of a sudden BRAC crime went up 400%. He was there robbing people's homes, breaking into homes, burglaring homes, stealing stuff, stealing cars. He'd do the same thing. One car he torched to try to get rid of the evidence. That's his MO. That's what he does. When he's locked up, when they take him away from the BRAC, all of a sudden, those types of crimes go down in Cayman BRAC. I was at a business location the other day, and someone said to me, this person has lived in Cayman probably for over 30 years. And he said, I was somewhere else, and somebody's telling me, Caymanian lady told me, yeah, it's these people, these Jamaicans coming in, committing crimes, and then on Monday morning, they get on the flight out of Cayman. I know we want to believe that. And I guess it gives us some degree of comfort if we believe that somebody else is responsible for our problems. It must be somebody else committing the crime. It's the Jamaicans, it's the Filipinos, it's the aliens that come down in their spaceships and do all this stuff. Because the day that we have to accept full responsibility for our role in all of this as parents, as community leaders who cloak up these young children. Remember what we were talking about earlier this week about extreme ownership? It is time that Caymanians took extreme ownership of this crime situation. Look, yeah.
This requires.
Remember what I said?
Of all entitlement. That the world doesn't owe you anything. You just rid
the world doesn't owe you anything, honey Joe. Can y'all hear him? He sounds a little bit low this morning.
You're a victim, and therefore you're entitled to all this stuff. Listen, you just want to rid yourself of all of that entitlement. So you show up and you say, I'm going to take full responsibility. Jocko Willink and Leif Babin are two former Navy SEALs. They wrote a book called Extreme Ownership.
Can my radio people hear it?
Concept and a great book. Extreme ownership basically means it's always your fault. Extreme ownership, you take extreme ownership of all the areas of your life. If your fitness isn't where you want it to be, it's not your parents' fault. It's your ownership.
I feel like my radio folks can't hear that for some reason. Can't hear in the radio. Yeah, This thing is going to frustrate me. Hold on now. Let me see. But I played this earlier in the week. And once again, folks, it's all about the fact that we have to take ownership of what is happening. That includes ownership of, let me see here now what my settings are. Those two look pretty good. That includes ownership, folks, of, one second here. That includes ownership, folks, of the crime that is occurring in this country. Let's try it again, radio folks.
That you rid yourself of all entitlement. That the world doesn't owe you anything. You just rid yourself of it. We get programmed that no, you're a victim and therefore you're entitled to all this stuff. Listen, you just want to rid yourself of all of that entitlement. So you show up and you say, I'm going to take full responsibility. Jocko Willink and Leif Babin are two former Navy SEALs. They wrote a book called Extreme Ownership. It's a great concept and a great.
Let me try something else. I've got my suspicions about something here. Let me pull it in differently and tell me if you can hear it this way.
Success requires that you rid yourself of all entitlement. That the world doesn't owe you anything. You just rid yourself of it. We get programmed that no, you're a victim and therefore you're entitled to all this stuff. Listen, you just want to rid yourself of all of that entitlement. So you show up and you say, I'm going to take full responsibility. Jocko Willink and Leif Babin are two former Navy SEALs. They wrote a book called Extreme Ownership. It's a great concept and a great book. Extreme ownership basically means it's always your fault. Extreme ownership. You take extreme ownership of all the areas of your life.
All right. I don't know why sometimes you can hear that one and sometimes you can't, because the settings are always the same. Anyway, the concept of extreme ownership means that you just own it. You take responsibility. You can't blame everybody else for your issues. So it is convenient, to blame others. It's easier to blame others. Even myself, sometimes I will look at a situation and go, hold on a second here. Who's actually committing these crimes? Right? We can look at some of the numbers and say, well, even some of the Caymanian families that their children get into gang banging and this and that. If we honestly look at the influences, we had to be honest about the numbers. There are those of us who could see that normally one parent is not Caymanian. I could go through a long list. Now, extreme ownership would say it doesn't matter. Even if the one parent is Honduran, Jamaican, wherever you got them from, that cultural influence on your child, you as the parent have to take extreme ownership for. As a Caymanian parent, you were the one who made a decision to have a relationship with somebody else of a different culture. And if that meant that culture is bringing in certain things into your home, certain beliefs that you should have been more conscious of and been more present in the lives of your children to not allow them to go down this critical path of destruction, you have to take ownership for that. The society has to take ownership of it. These kids are now our children, whether we want them or not. It won't make a difference where one parent came from anymore, right? Because they still came in, are they not? So here we go. If we're going to sit back and say nothing and do nothing about marriages of convenience, and those are the ones that are producing a lot of dysfunctionality in this country, we have to take extreme ownership for it. So when the police said indigenous Caymanians, indigenous people are the ones out there committing these robberies. Wow. Y'all sitting in the back of the classroom paying attention this morning? I was like, oh God. Thank you for clarifying it, but boy, does it make my heart sad. Because for every one person out there doing it, there's probably 2 or 3 people that know that it is them. Caymanians, are y'all listening? What are you doing about it? Right? You guys have children, adult children still living up in your house. They're not working, but yet you see them flush with money and cartons of cigarette that they're stealing from these places. And you're not going to say, where are you getting this stuff from? You need to step out of my house and I'm going to call the police. That's what extreme ownership would do. It would do the right thing, regardless of whether or not they're your children. But instead, we're going to pretend that it's somebody else's issues, that robberies are up 400%, armed robberies. And it's only a matter of time before these people, not only a matter of time, again, they've already killed people during armed robberies, and it will happen again. Innocent lives. Just like poor Mr. What's his name? The retired prison officer. He was an innocent man. Yes, he was gambling. I get it. But he did not deserve to have his life taken away from him. When are we going to say enough is enough? Remember I was telling you all about these sheep's and wolves clothing, these so-called Christians who are up in church and they can't even get out of church good. They messaging each other, what number played today? And the police and the authorities are saying, listen, these offenses, although they might seem like, oh, gambling is not a big deal, they are leading to a whole lot of other things. The last armed robbery in North Side was gambling. The people them know you're sitting there gambling and they come to take your money from you. All the big time gamblers, they're getting away with it in court because a jury, again, of their peers, no accountability, no extreme ownership, letting them walk out of the courthouse a free person. But all you're doing is setting them up for some criminal to think, oh, I can take him out because I hear on a good day on the weekend, this man flush with $50,000, $60,000 easy. That's an entire year's worth of salary for me if I'm out there working minimum wage. So let me just go and take it from him. You don't think the day is going to come when they're going to go for the top people in the gambling world? These young boys out there engaging this kind of behavior don't care. They're not thinking at the same level that you and I may be thinking. It's sad. 23 gun-related robberies have been committed over the past few months. This is my Cayman that I love and want to call home for as long as I can. This? Do y'all remember the day when we could go for years and there wasn't a single gun incident? There was no murders. There was nothing. This place was an amazing place to live. Now, if you're comparing it to most of the other world, it still is an amazing place, but come on now. It's going down a slippery slope that's not good. Wow. The recent robberies are being committed by local indigenous people. And they more or less know who they are, but they have to build a case and put cases against them. Well, the police have said, listen, they're looking for several Honda vehicles. Silver, a lot of shorten the list a little bit, not really. And so, you know, if your child driving a Honda, a vehicle, I think they said there's about 3 different model types that they gave. You need to be on the lookout. People know who's committing these crimes. It's almost impossible for you not to know. Number one, criminals have a knack for talking on each other. Let's be very, very clear. They can't hold water. They talking themselves. What a mess. Not alone. I keep getting your name right. Is it not alone? Is that what I was supposed to say? As a government, far more energy is spent on covering things up than making any useful changes. Yeah. Nautical One. Thank you. Nautical One. For some reason, I keep want to put the A along with the LONE. So it's like not alone. Nautical One. Thank you, Ed. What a hot mess. Ed is like, Sandy, what is in your tea? Morning, Debbie. Debbie says this married to Kimanian thing has to be strenuous stipulations in the law. Has to have strenuous stipulations in law. If you mess up, they need to go and status be revoked. They have the prevention that they have made it. They have the prevention that they have made it if married to Kimanian. I don't think prevention was the right word, but I get what you're saying. And yes, I mean, listen, I think all categories of status should be revocable. There's no way that you should get any status in this country. And if you commit certain offenses, that you can't have it taken away. I don't care if you're married to Kimanian, my left foot, my right foot, Bobo TD. I don't care who you're married to. If you have children here, that way you better keep that second passport, honey child, because when you mess up, you're going to be exported, deported. Melissa says, whatever is given isn't yours, so why are you worried? I'm confused by that. What is that in relation to? Whatever is given isn't yours, so why are you worried? Worried about what? Given what? Okay, you lost me in that one, Melissa. You might want to come again. Vanessa says, you mean stop giving to CUC in churches? I think Jonathan made a comment that you must stop giving your 10% to the churches and give it to CUC instead, and you will have light. The Lord will give you light. He's joking. So I'm guessing that's what Melissa's talking about, because she says whatever is given isn't yours, so why are you worried? Anyway, folks, let's leave the church out of this for a minute, okay? Because y'all going overboard now. Darlene says, I agree 100% with Debbie. That law needs a fast review. Imagine the new law says that once they're married, expat spouses have all rights to stay on island immediately for as long as they remain married. Is this now the case, Debbie? Please look into this. Well, unfortunately, what ends up happening, and I think it's a bit of, there's documentation that you have to file, right? Well, again, mine was over 7 years ago, so I think things have changed since then. So you get automatic residency with the rights to work kind of thing, right? Well, they call it RERC or whatever. But you still are supposed to, as far as I know, file an affidavit stating that this is a bona fide and real marriage. And just because somebody does that affidavit doesn't mean that it's true. And marriages of convenience are a real problem in this country. Once again, when we talk about extreme ownership, one of the people in that situation is a Kimanian that's allowing it to happen. So we need to start putting them under the fire. Not alone, Nautical One says, MASH, I know of examples where a drug-addicted woman is pregnant and in treatment. Reports made to MASH about the unborn child in danger. MASH said they can't do anything until the child is born. Really? Well, they can't do anything about the child, but they should be able to do something about the mother, the child is part of the mother. Obviously, I think what they meant was it's not like they can take the child, but certainly an investigation should be carried out on the mother, and all efforts should be taken to protect that child, even during the pregnancy. Because guess what? Whatever the outcome is, Nautical One, we end up being the government and MASH and other agencies, DCFS, will be the ones who will have to take care of that child. Ugh. It's crazy. Giovanna says, I know people who pass through there, but I can't imagine it getting worse. The Bonaventure, the girls' home, Francis Bodden. I know you might not be able to imagine it, but it looks like it's happening. Miss Darlene says, Sandy, there's so many good and capable Caymanians who should be placed at the Cays Foundation. I remember when our people like Mrs. BG and others, I can't remember their names now, was so much better. Debbie goes on to say, our people can sure hire some perverts to deal with their kids. When they mess up elsewhere, they run here and bam, they got a job without being properly scrutinized. But yet some of our people who live here all their lives are not even acknowledged for such positions. That's sad. Dean says no accountability seems to be the order of the day globally. Mess and more mess, near and far, high and low. Lucille says, very good morning, Sandy. Can you say how France is coming? Oh, yes. Thank you very much for the message. If you know, please, love you. I know the family need their privacy, but I'm very concerned. Okay. He actually issued a statement. So let's go ahead and play that statement now for the benefit of everyone to hear. So thanks very much to France Manderson for this statement.
Good day. Yesterday morning, after experiencing chest pains, I was admitted to the hospital where I was diagnosed with having a micro heart attack and received an emergency medical procedure. I'm happy to report that my procedure was successful. I am recovering well thanks to the dedicated and professional team of medical professionals at the Health Services Authority and Doctors Hospital. I thank them both for their swift action and continued support. I also want to extend a heartfelt thank you to the public for your outpouring of support and well wishes. Your words of encouragement and prayers have meant the world to me and my family. Both while I'm recovering and when I'm released, I will continue to follow doctor's orders to assist my full recovery. Thankfully, my well-being is improving and I am doing much better. But it would be remiss of me not to encourage everyone, and especially the men of our community, to take their health seriously. It's okay to ask for help when you need it. Doing so may have saved my life. As men, we are often focused on the care and protection of our loved ones and our professional obligations. However, we are just as vulnerable to illness. Prevention, early detection, and response are key to our well-being. The month of November is Men Health Awareness Month. I want to encourage you to get regular wellness checks, exercise.
My apologies, our radio listeners said that they couldn't hear it. So I'm just going to start it over again. It's only a couple minutes, so stand by.
Good day. Yesterday morning, after experiencing chest pains, I was admitted to the hospital where I was diagnosed with having a micro heart attack and received an emergency medical procedure. I'm happy to report that my procedure was successful. I am recovering well thanks to the dedicated and professional team of medical professionals at the Health Services Authority and Doctors Hospital. I thank them both for their swift action and continued support. I also want to extend a heartfelt thank you to the public for your outpouring of support and well wishes. Your words of encouragement and prayers have meant the world to me and my family. Both while I'm recovering and when I'm released, I will continue to follow doctor's orders to assist my full recovery. Thankfully, my well-being is improving and I am doing much better. But it would be remiss of me not to encourage everyone, and especially the men of our community, to take their health seriously. It's okay to ask for help when you need it. Doing so may have saved my life. As men, we are often focused on the care and protection of our loved ones and our professional obligations. However, we are just as vulnerable to illness. Prevention, early detection, and response are key to our well being. The month of November is Men Health Awareness Month. I want to encourage you to get regular wellness checks, exercise, and just as importantly, if you need help, please get timely medical attention. We should never ignore the signs. I hope to see you soon, but not before my doctors advise me to do so. I wish to offer a special thank you to the men and women of the civil service who will continue to focus on delivering the government policies and making lives better for the people of these beloved islands.
All right, folks. What a mess. While that was playing, I was going through trying to catch up on some of the WhatsApp messages because oh my gosh. This one says lesbian, and she's the W word. She was a menace in Biggie Rankin's wife life. Lord Jesus. You see what I'm telling y'all about these fanatical people? It's like they feel like they have to go from one extreme to the next to prove themselves. Get it together. Someone says, speaking of child pornography, Pavlov Ramanu, whatever the heck his name was, that was another one that was imported in by UCCI. He's still teaching children in the United States, doing private tutoring. What? And he has customers? I was just this week trying to comment everywhere possible that he's a pedophile and shouldn't be tutoring anyone's children. Oh my God. Do people not Google people before? Oh, what? No, sir. Hear this now? What a mess. I tell you, the things you can hear. No, man. And that man had so much pornography in his devices that they couldn't even oh my love. No, I don't know what to say. What a mess. I tell you. Wow. Well, there was an accident earlier by Snug Harbor. Someone sent that in. Thank you for the accident alert. Yeah, ran right into the back of somebody. Y'all can't slow down now. A little bit of traffic, a little bit of water. Slow down. Give yourself enough braking length between vehicles. If someone sent me a few Bible verses, we'll leave that one for another day, honey. Chill. Bible, but the Bible segment class is over. All right. Let me see who else is sending messages. Another dump truck spilling rocks this morning. Again. 911 was called and no one stopped them. Someone soon get killed with these truckloads. Then everyone is going to be jumping up. Too late though. Trying to catch up on some messages. All right. I think we're caught up now. So wishing Mr. Manderson a speedy recovery and hope that he gets well soon. You know, at the end of the day, these things happen. He has, he was exercising, and I suppose, I'm not his diet coach, but everybody said he was eating clean and whatever. And listen, heart attacks sometimes give you no warning. Thank God it was only a micro heart attack and not a massive one, because he might not be here to send the voice note out. So, we'll continue to wish him well and to send up positivity and prayers for him that he makes a full recovery. And you've got to listen to your body because apparently he felt like something was wrong that morning. And I'm sure he'll tell us all about it when he's ready. And he drove himself to the hospital. So if you feel, tightness in the chest or whatever, listen, take yourself to the hospital and be adamant because sometimes they're like, oh, no, you eat well. You're this, you're that. You're not having a heart attack. And meanwhile, you're sitting there dying. So sometimes you've got to really force the point. I remember years ago, Elio Solomon sharing how he saved his wife Betsy's life because when they took her to the hospital, they told her, oh no, Betsy, you too young to be having a heart attack. Go back home. If she had done that, she'd be dead. Of course, she was having a heart attack. And they were like, nah, we don't see nothing going on. Go back home and relax. Probably just stress. And he's like, no, she's having a heart attack and you need to send her away. And sure enough, she was having a heart attack that would have killed her. So we all can do better in the health department. I'm sure of that. Exercising, eating healthier. Sometimes by the time we get to the point where we're like, okay, I'm ready to make a life change. I'm ready to exercise and eat healthier. Those arteries already clogged up, honey child. And so the only way that they can do anything about it is to go in there and medically open it up and put that stent in there. And then, that'll keep the artery open. Because once it's clogged, it's clogged. I'm not sure. This is a question for Health City, really. Once you have a clogged artery, can you do anything to unclog it? Or do they always have to medically intervene? And, there's more than one artery that goes to the heart, right? But the right one is clogged at a certain percentage and boom, that's it. You're not recovering from that. So we're so happy that France is going to be okay. Young Audacity's in the house. Says Mercy Lady, you're looking radiant, motivating me to eradicate my weight. I don't know, honey child, because I still got 50 pounds to lose. I don't think 1 pound has come off yet, so I don't know. We got a ways to go. I'm trying to find my mojo back. Evelyn says export them. Yes. Somebody reminded me that we were talking about Atto Stevens. Someone reminded me that his wife is actually living in the States with him, which I knew because apparently she don't mind living with her child molester. Good morning, caller. Welcome to the program.
Good morning, Sandy.
Hello,
I know
darling.
time is. Good morning, my dear. I'm glad to hear that you're now too hoarse this morning.
No.
So, anyway, I have the same complaint of sinuses, but it only gets like that when it gets this kind of snowy looking weather.
Yes.
Anyway, I couldn't let you go today without two cases that I need to bring to your attention or to the public's attention, especially our politicians that's supposed to be representing West Bay. Now, I go and help an elderly lady that has been calling on me for years and years and years of my opinion, of my this, of my that. She has 4 or 5 boys. She had one daughter, but she passed away at a very early age from cancer. She lives in Mount Pleasant in West Bay. And she has also had a big family. She got 2 sons. One is a mental case that lays on the floor, watch TV all day and laughs when you come in the door and laughs when you go in out the door. And he's a mental case. He's not aggressive. He is no problem to anyone. The problem is to her. And she is now in her 90s. Those boys also have a half brother that is in politics. Now, I don't think that half brother ever darkens the door. The other one that is with her is, he has some sort of back trouble, Sandra. If you would see him, he looks like an animal coming towards you if he can come. He's nearly to the ground that had need medical attention from many, many years ago. Now, we only have one social worker in West Bay, yet the population is getting big. And that social worker is doing all she can for the district of West Bay. But it's not enough. It is just not
One
enough.
social worker for all of West Bay?
Yes.
Wow.
We do have a community district officer, and he does his best. But West Bay population has grown and getting bigger. Now, if I went there up till yesterday evening, and this boy, I tell you that this man, he's a man. I think he also had worked for government many years ago. I don't know what kind of back trouble he do have. I just know that he is not even if he stoop in the front of her cabinet, you can't see him. I mean, he can't straighten up at all. He cannot straighten up at all. And if he's in the front of those cabinets, only if you go and see if he's there that you can see him or you hear his voice. He still has a voice. For God's sake, politicians of West Bay, for God's sake, politicians of this island, go see the case I'm talking about. Anybody can tell you what I'm saying that has gone there to visit. Now, one pastor used to visit her, and that was Pastor Case from the Wesleyan Church. And only, I'm sorry, but he is gone away. He was a good man, and he went to visit her. What has happened, like you mention all the time, what has happened to all these churches and these Christians with their sleeves down to their hand and their dresses and their frocks down to their ankle? What has happened? What has happened that we cannot have our politicians to go and visit what I'm talking about? I don't want to call. If I want to call names, I will call names if you give me that permission.
Well, if it's true, call the names. Once you know what you're talking about, honey child,
it's the God in heaven truth, and that's what God loved to hear. Her name is Florence Ebanks. She lives in Mount Pleasant.
Does she not have any family? I mean, you mentioned children.
She has a big family, but as usual, like me, it's like me. I have a big family, one mental cousin, and it's just me that looks after this mental cousin. Up till yesterday, I had to carry her to psychiatrist, but Anna could go there any further. Another case is we also have a mental person that has been living on Graham Ebanks' porch for 6-7 years. And that house is opposite West Bay Foster's Republics, right across from Foster's, and she's been living on the porch. No sanitary facilities. I got on the radio many times. The radio came on, and I was speaking about it till 3 politicians or 4 politicians from George down a different district. It was 2-3 different districts came down and seen what I was talking about. She is so mental that whatever she has to do, she do it right out there in the public,
when you
in the yard.
let me just clarify, when you say mental, because I'm not really sure what that term means, but you're saying that they have some sort of disability.
Yes, ma'am. She is mental. I mean, she is crazy, not aggressive crazy, but
so
she,
we wouldn't, that wouldn't be the
also has a big family.
Yeah, I mean, Caymanians know what you mean when you say that, but of course, you know, there might be some other people listening who don't understand what that word means, and it's no longer politically correct, I suppose, to call people crazy anymore. But
I can use the common word for it: crazy. She is crazy, and she had need attention for many, many years. Now, when I got on the radio and I spoke about it, these people, these men came down to my house for the exact directions. I don't know how they miss it, because you see everything. Graham Ebanks Porches by Mr. Benson's hardware store. And she's been living there, and when it rains, when it blows, when it has squalls, when we have northwesters and stuff, I say, what is happening to that poor girl? She's a woman. She's a woman my age, 70, or she's maybe even older, because we went to school together. Now, she did have a sister that took her with her for a couple of days. She wanted her to stay with her longer, but the sister lives somewhere, Savannah, Eastern District, but she walked away again. Now, we do have a mental ward, and I know of people that has been in a mental ward for many, many years. Why can't we put her there until our facilities in East End is finished, which I believe it is finished, but I feel sorry for Dr. Lockhart, because God knows that man tries his best. I know I talked to him up till yesterday because of my mental cousin. So it things like what you're saying, Sandy, it is so true. And people would hate you. They hate me because I go and I help people. I know what poverty is all about. I was brought up poor, and I know what it is, but I have a little bit more today than I had when I was growing up. I could not blame my parents, because you know what? We were all poor in the District of West, or in Cayman, except a few elite families, and they're still that way. But I was put in me to, and we prayed about it all the time. I'm still praying about it. You help those, and it's in the Bible, that is less fortunate. Let these churches stop pretending and being Sunday and Saturday Christians, but don't help people. Or if they help them, they don't talk about it. I know of service clubs that keep on giving out money and giving out money by the board, by the president and stuff like that. But yet, most of them are foreign people that don't even know Cayman, much less who they're giving to. How do they know where this money is gone? I'm sorry, Sandra, if I sound angry, but this thing is getting on me to no end. And to seeing what I seen yesterday afternoon of Miss Florence Ebanks, it's a bloody shame. Now, she has one son that is a musician, and he really, really helps her. He really helps her all he can, but he has a family too that he has to try to make a living for. So I'm saying, why not the politicians go and see what I'm talking about and get down on government or social services or whatever they have to do to help this poor lady.
Wow.
I even take her to the doctor. I take her to the pharmacist. I take her whenever I can. But now I have my own self to take care about. My kidney was removed. Thank God to Health City. Thank God for doctors like Dr. Sandeep and Dr. George. I got a knee replacement. I have this mental person. I'm the social services or the family, yet most of them are working. But I care about people. I don't have to go to church to care about people, which most of them don't care as long as they get to church. I'm not angry, Sandra. I'm just frustrated to no end of all of this that is happening in our command that we so love. That's why the young people don't go to church. Because they're told, you can't come to church just like that. You can't come to church with makeup on. I know I'm taking up a lot of your time, and I wish you had more time on the radio. And I pray to God that you continue, and you, when you know it's the truth, call them out, Sandra. Call them out, because we're gone too far. Thank you so much for this time.
Thank you, my dear.
Thank you for allowing me this time. God bless you and give you and your family strength.
Thank you so much, my dear. Really appreciate that. Wow. Well, that's heartbreaking. Oh my God. It's horrible. I tell you, we got to do better with a lot of things, apparently. There are 4 MPs in the District of West Bay. I don't know specifically who this one falls under, but it really breaks my heart to hear anything to do with the elderly. So many of them have worked their entire lives. They've reached, in their 70s, 80s, 90s, or whatever. And sometimes they don't necessarily have anyone in the family who can help them, or the help is limited. And yes, social services must help. Why isn't she getting regular checks? I have a friend, Jamaican young lady who works here in Cayman. Every single Saturday, she goes in West Bay with, it's actually one of the churches, I believe, that does it. I can't remember exactly which one, but they have kind of like a soup kitchen where they provide meals. I think it might have been through Meals on Wheels, but anyway, they help to distribute food to the elderly. And she said to me before that you'd really be surprised at the condition that these people are living in. And it's so fortunate because on the one hand, Cayman has a lot of wealth that's here, but yet we have pockets of poverty and people who are being left behind in such a horrific way that it shouldn't be. We shouldn't have homes selling for 10, 15, 20, $30 million. And then we hear about conditions like this, where this woman doesn't have anybody, to make sure that she's getting a bath, that she's getting taken care of. I mean, something has to give. It's just really quite shocking and unbelievable. So we have 4 MPs in West Bay. I hope that they were listening this morning, or if you know them. I saw another call. I'm going to try to call them back because they were trying to call in several times. But please, if you live in West Bay, you must know something about this lady's situation.
Hello.
Hi, morning, my dear.
Morning, Sandra. My first time calling the show.
Thank you so much.
Since you were on the topic of the police, were you at the conference yesterday?
Yes, I was there.
Was anything mentioned about, I know a lot being said about these numbers and stuff, but was anything mentioned about that poor little child that was murdered and came back?
No, so this press conference was specific to the recent robberies. And
Okay.
yeah, what I can say, and I know I've said it here before, but I think maybe a lot of people missed it. We might have to do a story on this, but the police have essentially said that there is no indication of foul play, that they have spoken to the mother and she's aware of this. And, you know, I'm a bit confused because then I also see her posting other stuff on social media. Just 2 days ago, I had another family member reach out and saying the police haven't told the family anything, but I think what's going on is that they're telling the parents. Now, whether or not the parents share with the extended family what has been said to them is another question. But, you know, my sources are all the way at the top at the RCIPS. They said there is no indication of foul play. The child drowned. And, you know, unfortunately, there might be a question of neglect, like how did she get out at that hour sort of thing. But that's it. And so, you know, I don't think that they're going to charge the grieving mother with neglect, although some people think that they should. And they said, you know, if people know of anything, because there's a lot of rumors obviously surrounding this, but they said, listen, if people know of anything, they need to come forward and tell the police what they know. But on the face of it, all their forensic evidence, everything shows that this was just a sad case of this child getting out and drowning.
Sandra, everybody in Kipperbat know that poor little baby could not crawl out to that water over that shore.
I know. It sounds.
It
crazy.
really is sad what's happening in Cayman now, honestly speaking. I mean, anyway, that's all I have. That's all I wanted to find out.
Thank you so much, my dear.
Thanks for calling back.
All right, dear,
Bye.
no problem. We have so many cases. I saw that young man, Paul, the other day walking on the streets. Remember, he was in Jamaica and being well taken care of. I saw him earlier this week walking, and that's another one that breaks my heart because, again, Caymanians, our own people, brought him back here. His own family brought him back here to have him back out on the streets digging out the garbage cans. And we as Caymanians, again, ultimate accountability. We sit back and allow this to happen. Not speaking out on these issues. It's horrible. I'm going to call that caller after the show and see what I can do. But here's another update from an astute listener to the program. They were talking about this guy, Pavlov Ramanu, whatever the heck his name is. He is, I think, of Haitian heritage, but he was here with the one with the child pornography working at the university. We deported him after he served his sentence. And he is now in the U.S. Teaching and tutoring children, doing private tutoring. But here's the really shocking part of this. This person says, but because we don't have a sex offender registry, he's able to work in the state scotch-free with no pedophilia charges against him. How disgusting. My apologies. How disgusting. So here's another example of where having a sex offenders registry would be useful. Because when these people, the Atto Stevens of the world, the Pavlov, whatever the hell his name is, when they leave this jurisdiction, without us having a registry, they're able to leave and go overseas and nobody can be able to find them on a registry and share that information with other agencies, and they're free to then have victims elsewhere in the world. Imagine. This person said, and when I Googled where he is today, he's in Florida living his best life and tutoring children. I'm sick, absolutely sick. He used to work at FIU at some stage, and even the comments on the FIU student page, obviously they're college age, but still, the comments said that if you're a pretty girl, he'll help you more and be willing to give you extra office hours. This is absolutely sick. And as a student of his myself, I actually experienced this firsthand. Wow. I asked him for help with my stats class, and he told me he told me we should meet to study on the beach under the moonlight with a downed fruit. Needless to say, I never went. And this is who we had working with college students at the University College. Wow. Wow. That is crazy. No, sir. Unbelievable. All right. You ready for a scammer moment? Before we end the program today, shall we call a scammer? Y'all feeling up for a little excitement today? I'm not gonna divulge anything until we call them on the phone first, because they'd be trying to hide, honey child. They'd be like, "Oh, we can't answer the phone." So their friends be texting them, "You on CMR right now, honey child. Don't answer your phone." Let's call them first and see if we can get a hold of them. Oh, mess. This one hot. Tell your friends. Sandy's about to call a scammer. Tune in right now. All right, let's do it. Here, this is a Jamaican number, so we have to do it through WhatsApp. Okay. Let me see. Contacts. Yes. Let me see if we can find him. Living his best life in the Cayman Islands, I hear. While he owe people money. Here, I answered the phone. He's not going to answer. He probably listened to the show this morning and be like, "Oh no, I'm not answering that phone." All right. Well, we're still gonna out him. Where he at? Where is he? He's not answering the phone. Let's see if we can get him on another phone. We're gonna find you, son. We're gonna find you. Hold on now. We're gonna find him, Hold on. We got all the evidence in the world right here. Let me see if I can get to this next one. We got all kind of phones around the place. Is this one plugged in? Can't even. I don't think this one's. Oh, I think this phone's unplugged. Lord have mercy. I gotta check the power cable on that one. Okay, so let me see here now. He's not gonna answer the phone because he knew we were trying to call him. Got Jamaican number, but don't worry, we got credit, honey child. This one don't want to answer the phone, not at all. Hello? Hello? The phone not even ringing anymore. Oh, here we go. Hot tamales. Mm-hmm. Scammers don't want to answer the phone. All right. Well, he doesn't want to answer the phone. Let's see if we can show you what's going on with this case. So this is a case of Joseph Francis, the scammer. All right. Person has contacted us. They're overseas. They said, this man, Joseph Francis, conned me out of my money. I lent it to him out of the goodness of my heart. When he first moved to Cayman, he borrowed the money from me to help him buy tools so that he can start work. And that was from 2020. It's almost 2023. And still, I ain't get my money back. You can see the date in the receipt. He's known as Lloyd. He does building work. My mother had paid this man for work that he has not completed and move away to Cayman. When I call this man, he no longer answers my call or reply to my messages. And apparently they only have his Jamaica WhatsApp number. I'm sure he got a local number too. People should know him because he loved to go to bar to drink and get drunk. His wife is a cook. Me and my family has been good to this man. And they're saying that he just got married. All right. Here's the evidence before us submitted to CMR court is in session. Here's the money sent to Joseph Francis. Expected destination, Cayman Islands, cash pickup. Reference number, it used from MoneyGram. So the money was sent through MoneyGram. Debit against the card number. Exchange rate. So this person's in the UK and they are messaging from a UK number. So they sent $1,177.38 US dollars. Mm-hmm. And this now is Joseph Francis. So if you know Mr. Joseph, please tell him that him and the lovely wife dressed in white and these neon colors, neon pink and neon green and neon flowers. Please tell the man he owes someone some money. Maybe he forgot. You know, Wedded Bliss will do that to you. It'll make you forget exactly what's going on. What a hot mess. Oh, Mr. Francis, Joseph Francis, where are you? Whose house you working on today? There he is, getting married and living his best life. Where was his wedding? Looks like it was a posh enough wedding, honey. Chill. Ghetto posh. Ghetto fabulous. Mm-hmm. Yes, honey. Chill. So, Mr. Francis, your friend who went out of their way to loan you money is asking for you to please. They're saying it's been long enough and they need the money back. They're no longer in a position to allow you to keep this money. Wow. So sad. The best advice I could give y'all is do not loan these people money. I don't care what excuse they come to you by. Oh, I need tools to go to the Cayman Islands, be able to work. Don't loan them any money because you will never get it back. Crooks. Mr. Joseph, the man wants his $1,100 back, please. He says you're making good money. You're in the construction business. People know him as Lloyd. Okay. So his full name is Lloyd. What? He's known as Lloyd. His full name is Joseph Francis, and he's a builder. Almost 3 years and still out of $1,100. He's not answering his phone. He might be out of Wi-Fi because I noticed the message actually hasn't been delivered on Wi-Fi either. So You should try and get that money sorted. Hello, caller. Do you know where Mr. Lloyd is this morning? Hello?
Hello, honey child. How are you?
I'm good. We're looking for Mr. Lloyd. Do you know where Mr. Lloyd is?
Don't even know who he is.
Okay.
Don't have the slightest idea who this man is. But I just wanted to tap in with, I've seen a few people are commenting what's going on with the traffic in town.
Oh, yes.
It's so crazy.
Oh, God.
Oh.
It's the Pirates Week Road closures. It's closed from yesterday straight through. So y'all, oh, God. Avoid Georgetown, folks. Yeah.
Another thing, Sandy, I wanted to bring out, which one of the things I've been trying to get you to come out and assist with, is that it's very disappointing to see that what's his name? Superintendent Brad Ebanks and another officer was on your show some time back talking about safety measures. Safety in our streets and what have you.
Mm-hmm.
For quite some time, we have been trying to get the police to assist on Browns Road, where we have people continuously parking on their sidewalks. Webb Road, we have the road is blocked continuously. Up to 2 nights ago, we went in and they were double parked in there. Bear in mind, a senior had to move out of Webb Road because an ambulance couldn't get to her in a timely manner due to the blockage of vehicles parking in the road. Watlers Road is another eyesore to the community, which I'm kind of having issues with DEH tagging in there due to police interference. Not even to mention Washington Boulevard, where NRA have went in and put up no parking signs, double yellow lines, and the police continuously drive in and see people park on these double yellow lines and by these no parking signs, and just they turn a blind eye, wholly hit straight and drive by it. Right now, you have people down in there who are actually knocking down the no parking signs and throwing them on the side of the road or in the bush. We have so many lawless people, and it's all because the police is not doing their job. If NRA tends to go and put up no parking signs and put down double yellow lines, what could then NRA supposed to go out there and ticket people for breaking the laws and rules and regulations that they put down? I don't think so. Now, I don't understand why the police have a problem and have an issue with this. You understand? I know some of the times it's like people, after they raise their families and the family move out, they chops up their homes into a million pieces and create rent room with no parking. And that's planning's problem. Planners need to come out and to deal with these issues. That's why I said planning needs more than 2 compliance officers. For the whole Cayman Islands, 2 compliance officer is not cutting it. There is so much illegal buildings that have been going on in Cayman lately, and 2 compliance officers cannot be all over Cayman Islands at the same time to see what's going on. You understand? But nevertheless, that's a planning problem, not a police problem. The police should be ticketing for people who park on the street and block the road. 2 vehicles can't pass at the same time. And you know what is so seriously being ignored as well? Georgetown Primary School fire lane gate. At night, that gate is constantly blocked by cars parking there. You understand? And I've been reporting it to the police. What if some electrical issue was to happen in Georgetown Primary School and the fire truck needs to get in? They're gonna have to wait till all of these vehicles move from in front of the gate. Mind, there's a big red sign up there says no parking for your lane, and they don't pay it no mind, and you can never get the police to act on it. You can never get the police to act on it. I tell you, Sandy, I would really love to have you to come out with me and for me to take you a tour through Georgetown to really see what the police is ignoring. Then they have the audacity to come on your show and say, "Oh, we're about safety and road safety is our primary attention." Please, nothing. That is so far from the truth. So far from the truth.
All right, my dear. Thanks very much for the call.
All right, my darling. You have a blessed day and
You
weekend.
too.
God
All
bless.
right. Thanks, dear. So yes, folks, the traffic in town is because of road closures for Pirates Fest, which continues from the 17th through the 20th. The roads are closed. You know, what a mess. All I can tell you is there's your Pirates Fest. I don't know what else to tell you. So the road closures are impacting traffic. I'm a bit shocked, but the roads are closed between Warwick Drive and Fort Street from last night at 10 p.m. and they're going to reopen on Sunday at 10 a.m. Shedden Road is going to be closed to westbound traffic at Elgin Avenue during these times. So local access to the RBC parking lot for customers will be permitted during business hours on Friday. Northbound traffic approaching Seafarers Way is going to be diverted onto Boilers Road. And southbound traffic will be diverted onto Fort Street. They're asking you to exercise caution, but what I would say to you is don't go to town, none at all. If you can help it today, don't go anywhere near Georgetown. The sad part is whenever they do these road closures, they actually impact more than just that little quadrant, because then it's going to impact Eastern Avenue, I'm sure is all backed up this morning. That's going to have a trickle down effect into, all the way probably to Hartwell. So it's a hot mess. I don't know. Y'all want Pirates Fest. There you go. We all have to suffer now because of it. Why are we closing it? What are the events that we're closing it for? That sounds like a lot from Thursday night until Sunday. I was going to go to court today to get caught up with Garfield Robb. He must be at least on victim number 10, I hope by now, the prosecution's case. But honestly, I ain't not going to fool with no traffic today. Y'all not about to stress me out on a Friday. Happy Friday, right? No, Bobo, not me. I'm not looking for extra stress in my life, so I probably won't go today after all. They have the fireworks, and what else? You got closed the whole weekend just for fireworks? No, that can't be. No, sir. Let me look at the events list. Where do I have to go for the events? Events. What do we got here? We got the turtle release is today. Oh, yes, that's happening at 10 o'clock. Poor little turtles. We got the Fest 5K run. That's today, this evening. We have the Pirate Pooch Parade. That's tomorrow. When did we start doing the pooches? Oh, I need to get myself a little dog. All right. Trial of the Pirates. Okay, so that's tomorrow at the National Museum and Seafarers Way. We have finale fireworks on the 19th. That's tomorrow. We have a teen up street dance. That's tomorrow evening. And then on Sunday, they're going to do a beach cleanup. What a mess. Aliano says all these robberies and people still want to shake their backside. Well, what can I tell you? He also says to park your bicycle and ride. Gabby says they clearly need more traffic police and there are many who need work. No excuse. Who need work. like need to work. Sandra says we're clearly overrun and outnumbered. Our quality of life is gone. We don't need any more police nor any more whatever. We need to stop this craziness of trying to save the world. Mm-hmm. Damien wants to know where the beach cleanup is. It is going to be, does it say? Plastic free Cayman is once again, I guess you can go to any beach and just clean up. They don't specify which beach, so I'm not sure if it's like all beaches. All right. What a hot mess. Lavana says that's what I don't understand, why they don't give these people tickets. No, they get the license plate numbers and call the persons and ask them to move. The people still don't. So tickets need to be given. I bet you they will stop. My road to get home turned into a way last night while trying to get home because the other side has cars parked on it. Oh, like turned into one way. Yeah, you know what is so interesting? Y'all heard me yesterday talking about the lady parked in the handicap spot, right? This shows you sometimes maybe we don't always understand what the police need in order to issue a ticket, but I agree more can be done. So the photo that I sent the police at that point, she already had moved. So they said, oh, they can't ticket her because the photo doesn't show her parked in that spot. And even with my statement, it would like, they could just warn her. I said, oh, honey child. Now y'all know I'm not coming to the table. Hello, let me get my little gavel and stuff here now. Court in session, Your Honor. I'm not going to come to the table without evidence. So I said, that's okay. Because I have something called a dash cam that has 3 cameras, inside, outside, rear, and front. And it picks up when the car not even on and y'all moving around my car. Be careful. I said, honey child, when traffic called me, they said, oh, the commissioner got your message and we're calling you. But, we can't do anything because this picture doesn't show her in a handicap spot. And I said, don't you worry. I got all the evidence you need. Let me just go and extract it from the dash cam. And y'all know I did some extracting yesterday. Gave them all 3 camera angles. And a screenshot from the cameras that showed her parked where she wasn't supposed to be parked. Apparently, she doesn't own the car. The car is in the husband's name. I wish the fine was $100,000 so the husband could really feel a way about it. But he'll probably pay the little $100 and not be worried. But yes, honey child, get y'all some good dash cams now. It's well worth the investment, not just for situations like this, but car accidents and all sorts of other things. Mm-hmm. Pretty amazing, is it not? Yes, my love. So I had to send them all of that. And I took the liberty of sending them the photo that my back camera picked up of her parked in the handicap spot. So now you can ticket her. You've got all the evidence in the world that you need. There you go. Boom. That's right, honey. Let me do better. She just got served, said Nathina. She sure did. She'll think twice about taking my picture again for no good reason. I was going to let it slide because I'm a very forgiving person. Until she took my photo of me walking my child. I'm like, why you just did that for, honey chill? Did you just understand what you just did? You showed me the type of person you are. It would be one thing if I spoke to you and said, miss, please move. You're in a handicap spot. The excuse about your son changing was ridiculous. But even if you said, you know what? Yep, I'm wrong. Let me move. She did eventually move when a spot opened up, to her credit. But when I'm walking now back to my vehicle, why are you taking my picture? What are you trying to come up on me for? Did someone not tell you that's Sandy Hill? She don't put up with no foolishness. Don't go there. Because I was just going to walk back to my car and mind my own business and continue the day. Because I figured she's been warned that you don't park in that spot because people are going to notice you. But when she raised that camera in that little gold case and pressed that button, I said, ooh, Shivi Matimba, you must be crazy. Down with your head. I said, okay, we're going to see how this going to go, honey Jill. Because I'm in the right. I've done nothing wrong. I spoke to you about your ridiculous behavior, your incredulous behavior. What are you taking my photo for? You only take photos and send it to CMR when somebody's done something wrong. Don't take no photos if they're not done nothing wrong. Leave people alone. So I'm thinking, oh, this woman wants to be salty with me. Well, I can give her a dose of iodine salt. She don't know. This is the good stuff. Aliana says $250 times 300. You do the math, Damien, but let me not go give no ideas. Irvelin says they don't know the girl, Sandy. She don't play. Well, they should know, but anyway, some of them. Clearly, she don't listen to the cold hard truth, honey chill. Sue says they need to stop buying cars, the new expats who are still allowed to come here like they do in other islands. Well, I mean, that would perhaps address some other issues, but time for the news. Like I said, I do need to go to parts of town today, but central town, I am staying far, far, far away. I hope they don't have closing arguments in this case yet. I need to figure that out because Lord Jesus, I don't want to miss that. Okay, so thank you very much. Good morning. Good morning. Someone says, when they close off, why would they close off the waterfront on a Friday? I was trying to take my kids to see the turtle release, but we have been stuck 45 minutes in traffic and are still trying to get to C&B roundabout from SciFec. Oh my God. 45. Oh, Jesus. No, 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 and then no. So the person who this guy owes money to says, ask the Jamaicans if they know him. He's from what? Guys Hill, St. Catherine, and his wife is from Gale in St. Anne. Child, I guess we'll find him for you, honey child, but don't loan people money next time. So someone is asking if the premier is going to do anything to control the population. What would you have him do? Force y'all to take birth control? The traffic is ridiculous every day. I'm not so sure that's a population control thing, but right. Someone wants to invite me to a meeting. All right. Thank you very much for your comments, good folks. All right, here's the news. Stay away from town today. That's the best advice I can give you. I don't even know. Felipe says my belly. You're laughing so hard. Aliana says, is there an outlook point in which we have to be switching over to electric cars? Well, you know, Aliano, I recently got a hybrid. I mean, I'm halfway there. I want to go full electric, but then I need to get a charger. And I want to actually wait until that particular car that I'm looking at is like the second model out. So they've just released it. It got really good reviews, but you know, something might be kind of twisted here and there. So I'm going to wait like the second or third year of release and then save up my money. I'm trying to save my coins and never have to go to the bank for a car loan again. So I got a lot of savings to do between now and then. But I don't know if they can force people to get an electric vehicle. And there's a lot of things that people, like unintended consequences of electric vehicle, what's happening to the batteries, how are we dealing with that? I mean, there's a lot. Ciao. There's a lot. So I don't know if they're going to force it on people, but some car makers in the United States of America are going to stop making regular cars. I think is it GM? One of them, I'll try to look this up for you. they're going to stop paying. They're going to stop making cars like by 2025 or 20 something. So, more and more, that's going to be the thing. Here it is, Joe. Now the BBC announces that electric car drivers must pay tax from 2025. So electric cars will no longer be exempt from vehicle excise duty from April of 2025, the chancellor has said. So they're going backwards, now charging people for electric vehicle. But they're definitely more and more in demand. One of the things that we need to curtail in this country is the importation of these secondhand cars from Japan that are leaving Japan for a reason. There's a reason why they don't want them there. I'm just saying. Ford chief warns that electric vehicles require 40% less labor. Wow, really? Well, that sounds like they should be a lot cheaper then. But one of the major manufacturers, I read this headline somewhere recently, they will be stopping, they will stop manufacturing. I'm trying to find it. Regular cars soonish. But 40% less labor, shouldn't that mean that they should be cheaper to purchase? These car manufacturers, honey child, they can find a way to still make their money. So he says that this is Chris Farley, who is the CEO apparently. Jim Farley made a blockbuster. He's the CEO of Ford, according to the somewhat jovial and optimistic cousin of the late comedic actor Chris Farley. Okay, why did we need to know that? Producing electric cars requires about 40% less labor than producing the same number of fossil-powered cars. The fact that electric cars are simpler than internal combustion vehicles has long been a talking point of electric vehicle fans and evangelists. That's funny. They say AKA EV Angelus, electric vehicles. This has mostly come into play when talking about lower maintenance costs. They aren't all the belts, tubes, hoses, etc. that you find in a gas mobile. This means that fewer parts that can break and less maintenance over time. Really? I never knew this. What is less discussed is what he highlighted this week is that it also means simpler production and a similar and smaller labor force manufacturing the world's cars and trucks. This is interesting. I did not know this. Honey child, you learn something every day. Let me see if I can tell you when the car manufacturers are going to go all electric. It's coming. It is definitely coming. Let me just tell you. All right, someone says realize. Oh, okay. All right. Okay. 20-year-old cars. I've got my eye on a really nice electric vehicle. So let me see now. The 5 most affordable electric cars. Electric vehicle sales are up 41%. Volvo, here we go. Volvo won't sell petrol cars here by 2026. Will the likes of Toyota and Ford follow their lead? So 2026 is right around the corner, honey child. So Volvo is on the list. Who else? And they sped up their plans by 4 years earlier for the Swedish car company. They're committing to going fully electric. There was somebody else, though, because I don't see that many Volvos around anymore. Are they still really the thing? Remember when they used to be kind of like, everybody wanted a Volvo? Not everybody, but they've always had a bit of an unusual shape for me. So Hertz is also renting out Teslas in Australia. Let me see who else. the demand is stronger than we actually anticipated in the early days for electric vehicles. I think the transition will go a lot faster than people realize. So that's good. It's coming. Soon to come. I don't know about the other car manufacturers, but I know that headline I saw was involved, but it was somebody else. Mazda says their goal is to be 100% of their fleet has some level of electrification by 2030. Toyota, all models in Australia by 2030, excluding performance cars. I guess they still need that vroom vroom engine thing going on. Toyota, they said they're not limited to a single technical solution. Sounds like they still want to make regular vehicles. Hyundai says it couldn't put a commitment on when it would phase out ICE cars in Australia. So this is Australia, but this will still give you an idea. So it's coming to come. And you know, the thing about it is the more demand the consumers put on these companies, they will produce it. Yes. So we have a little bit of a tax break here for electric vehicles. Shoot, they should make it 100%. At least give us like a couple years, right? The US, they're talking about some of their tax plans as well for electric vehicles. I mean, they're not going to give it to you forever. All right. Kevin has informed me that there's a new update for the news. So let me pull that down. Gabby says you want population control, legalize abortion. Laughing out loud, just saying. Girl, try to behave yourself. Them Christians coming for you with their Bible. They're gonna beat you up with it. We shouldn't even have to get to that point. Y'all just need to learn how to use birth control. That would be the thing. Be responsible beforehand. Yay. All right. Damien says, when will they do electric rockets to go to the moon? Slow down. Darlene says maybe they're talking about the imported population. You know, the thing with that, Darlene, is quite frankly, I'm sure they are talking about the imported population. But the same people who say things like this, I'm not saying that this is the person who said it, but as a Caymanian, let's discuss this next week. But I'm going to put this out there, and this is your homework assignment for the weekend, right? Think about this. Y'all talk about wanting less people here, but do you really want less people? Because most y'all have rental homes, rental car businesses, restaurants, salons. Your very churches are filled with expats. So if you want a smaller population, are you willing to accept the realities of having a smaller population? Nobody to rent your places. That's how y'all are able to jack up the prices. So let's be very, very clear. And some of you will lose businesses as well because your business relies on the foreigners to be here. So let's get rid of 25% of the foreigners, just like the tourists. Let's cut it by 25%. Y'all are going to be out in the streets crying like the people driving taxis that they're not making no money. Ask yourself if that is the solution. Reducing the population, reducing specifically the expat population. Is that going to solve your problems? I would love to hear what y'all think about that. Miss Carol, the traffic is blocked in town because it's horrible in town because of all of the block roads. Pirates Fest festivities. So it's closed from last night at 10 p.m. It reopens on Sunday morning. So unfortunately, expect the traffic to be horrendous over the weekend. All right, here's your news, good people. Y'all behave yourself over this weekend, please. No drinking and driving. We're still trying to hear who's arrested in that cyclist hit and run. But no drinking and driving over the weekend. Look out for pedestrians. Look out for cyclists. Please be good. Okay? Just be courteous of other people. Don't leave your dogs and cats and kids in the car. Don't leave your, I was going to say, don't leave your front door open either. Probably not a good idea. Help an old lady across the street. Don't park in handicapped spots, please. You don't want Sandy to be looking at you cross-eyed. And you know what I've decided after this little incident with this woman? I'm like, you know what? I'm not getting myself in no mix-up with nobody. Because I have to exercise a bit of reservation not to tell her what was really on my mind. Going forward, I'm going to do the same thing as everybody else. Snap the photo and send it to CMR. I'm going to literally snap the picture and email it to myself and say, hey, Sandy, put this up for me, please. There you go. Use your indicator. Thank you, Damien. Yes, let people know what you intend to do. That could help with some of the traffic accidents. All right, beautiful people. Y'all be good.
Hello, I'm Kevin Watler, and this is your CMR Daily Buzz. Wanted man Luisto Hernandez was located at a Bordentown address by the police on Monday. The 22-year-old was arrested on suspicion of attempted murder and possession of an unlicensed firearm for a shooting that occurred in the Windsor Park area where a man was hospitalized after being shot in the stomach. A 22-year-old woman of Bordentown was also arrested along with Hernandez for assisting him evade the police. 3 Honduran men on a commercial fishing vessel in Cayman territorial waters were found with 5 kilos of cocaine. According to the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service, the police helicopter was on patrol and alerted the Cayman Islands Coast Guard about the vessel. The Coast Guard boarded the vessel and found the drugs. The 39, 42, and 59-year-old men were arrested and charged for importation of cocaine. Deputy Governor the Honorable Franz Manderson provides an update on his medical emergency.
After experiencing chest pains, I was admitted to the hospital where I was diagnosed with having a micro heart attack and received an emergency medical procedure. I'm happy to report that my procedure was successful. I am recovering well thanks to the dedicated and professional team of medical professionals at the Health Services Authority and Doctors Hospital. I thank them both for their swift action and continued support. I also want to extend a heartfelt thank you to the public for your outpouring of support and well wishes. Your words of encouragement and prayers have meant the world to me and my family. Both while I'm recovering and when I'm released, I will continue to follow doctor's orders to assist my full recovery. Thankfully, my well-being is improving and I am doing much better. But it would be remiss of me not to encourage everyone, and especially the men of our community, to take their health seriously. It's okay to ask for help when you need it. Doing so may have saved my life. As men, we are often focused on the care and protection of our loved ones and our professional obligations. However, we are just as vulnerable to illness. Prevention, early detection, and response are key to our well-being. The month of November is Men Health Awareness Month. I want to encourage you to get regular wellness checks, exercise, and just as importantly, if you need help, please get timely medical attention. We should never ignore the signs. I hope to see you soon, but not before my doctors advise me to do so. I wish to offer a special thank you to the men and women of the civil service who will continue to focus on delivering the government policies, and making lives better for the people of these beloved islands.
CMY wishes him a speedy recovery. The Cayman Islands Airports Authority is in the process of finalizing plans for the long-term sustainable development of the 3 airports in the Cayman Islands. The CIAA will be hosting a series of community outreach sessions on each island next week, where it will share the findings of the Community Outreach Survey. Pirates Fest events will cause some road closures for the next few days. Seafarers Way will be closed between Warwick Drive and Fort Street and will reopen by 10 a.m. Sunday. Also, Shedden Road will be closed to westbound traffic at Elgin Avenue. Local access to the RBC parking lot for customers will be permitted during business hours on Friday. Northbound traffic approaching Seafarers Way will be diverted onto Boilers Road, and southbound traffic will be diverted onto Fort Street. The Water Authority also has wastewater infrastructure upgrades that will cause road interruptions. The southbound lane along West Bay Road will be impacted. Traffic signs will be in place around the impacted areas. Now for your CMR weather update, it's brought to you by WG Charters. Sunrise at 6:35. Scattered thunderstorms will continue when the temperature is at 85 degrees Fahrenheit and humidity at 77% like the forecast calls for. It will feel like it's in the low 90s. Winds east-northeast at 10 to 20 miles per hour, and the sun sets at 5:45. At nighttime, the temperature falls to the low 80s. Looking forward, the thunderstorms will decrease over the weekend, but it will not go away altogether. CMR weather updates are brought to you by WG Charters. They offer private boat trips for a great price, so we encourage you to support them. Now for some regional and international news. Former Vice President of Football's world governing body FIFA, Austin Jack Warner, on Thursday lost his fight at the Privy Council against extradition to the United States on corruption charges. The court in London, Trinidad and Tobago's highest appeal court, dismissed Warner's lawyers' contention that the extradition proceedings were unlawful. This paves the way for the proceedings in the Twin Island Republic's Magistrate Court to resume. The United States is expected to begin deporting Cuban migrants who crossed undocumented into the country from Mexico on flights back to Cuba. The deportation is expected as Cuba has agreed for the first time since the pandemic to accept deportation flights carrying Cubans caught at the U.S.-Mexico border. This is expected to deter a number of Cubans heading to the United States. 8 billion. That's the number of humans estimated to be alive on Earth. On November 15th, the global population reached this landmark according to a projection from the United Nations. Though the global population continues to expand, the rate of growth is slowing. Current projections predict the world's population will peak at about 10.4 billion in the 2080s and remain steady until 2100. That's it for now on the Daily Buzz. Thank you for joining me. Please stay safe and God bless.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Cold Hard Truth on Bobo 89.1 FM. Cayman's #1 talk show is live weekdays from 7:30 a.m. Never miss an episode again. Watch anytime on CMR's Facebook and YouTube channels for the latest show episodes. Don't forget to follow us online on our social media channels and visit CaymanMarlRoad.com for all the latest news and community happenings.